It hits again. Kevy, he's done it one more time.
The Chaos Storm! Claire jumps in with the Grand Slam! But in a three-man Moonfall, it's just lights out for Direwolves, just like that.
The showstopper. Look at the backline. It's getting melted.
Something right now, Sonic Wave is there, it's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron! He's gonna fall on down, it's just too much damage! Rest in peace!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. The weekend, it's over. I've been waiting all weekend for it to get out of the way because it's playoffs day 3 here on the LCO, which means we get to say goodbye to yet another team. We had to say goodbye to Direwolves last week. I know a lot of people are sad about that, but of course there's still 4 teams that are all really trying to make it to the top, and we may have also seen the greatest game in Oceanic League of Legends history last week. So let's see if any games can live up to that one this week. But first, let's look back at that game and then a couple of other things, huh?
No, he survived. Lock is enough. Up jumps into Punis hunting. He's got the Blade Surge. He wants to try and take out Rogue. That's not what he can find. The stopwatch is too good. And now they're zoning back to their fountain. Ray's also in a similar fashion getting dived upon by a key carry, but Yukari dives to the fountain laser. The axe goes out. There's the double kill. Looking for the triple. The GA's been blocked.
Oh no.
He's sitting
The
on triple
minions as
kill.
well.
The minions surely got the minions. Can they do it? They've been ace, but the base is in shambles.
The top.
But this is do or die right now. They're going to go golden. One turret down. One member down as Bomb falls on through. They're on towards the Nexus. They just need to hit this one. Forget about killing. Just go for the win. Unreal.
Oh no, not again.
Not again.
Not
Not
again.
his exact position. The Elders at GG.
Oh my god.
Graves goes for the fight in a straight 2v2 at the 2-minute mark. They're going to knock him up as Rogue plays protection and for Peel. Prayed him across the wall. Oh no!
Oh,
the
no.
flash and the dash, and would you believe?
I will relive that moment any day for all the rest of the year because that was just so good to watch. Speak about a bloody spectator sport, huh? And look, speak about Menulog Mealtime as well because, of course, we're bringing in the show. We're going to give away some free bloody codes. One is going to get $30, and it could be one of these two. Maybe not because they're probably not allowed. And that's, of course, Rusty and Skimmy. Boys, how are we feeling? Have you rejuvenated those bloody vocal cords? Are you ready for today, Skimmy?
Always, mate. Always, absolutely. Just watching that, it wasn't so bad. I've seen some clips where you watch it and you just feel the pain of hearing the voice just absolutely suffer. But no, we're good, Mac. I'm excited for another game.
Beautiful. Rusty, how about you? Are you still flooding or have the waters sort of cleared now?
The water has finally cleared. We're no longer an island, completely isolated by the floods, which is good. But I will say, Mac, the throat hasn't recovered all that much. So I'm not sure how far we'll make it through, but we're going to do our absolute best today to deliver for the fans.
Well, I believe in you. And I know, look, worst case, your throat goes, we got Kitty. She can jump on in at any point because she's a professional like that. You guys at home, you're professional giveaway winners, aren't you? Get that menu pog in the chat. You can win yourself a $30 voucher for Menulog. Get yourself a spicy dinner or a sweet dinner or a sweet dessert or a spicy dessert. I don't know what you're into. It's your sort of thing. But of course, look, getting into today, we got an elimination high stakes final. So tell me, how do you have your steaks?
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
My boys.
Medium
my
rare.
boys.
All day.
I feel
All
like
day.
I could
Yeah.
even, like, I'm at the point now where I could even lean to just like rare. Just go, hit me with it.
You
Like,
reckon?
yeah, I think so. I like raw meat, you know. I'm a big sushi fan, and
Okay.
mostly, well, you know, sushi's very broad. Big sashimi, you know, salmon, whitefish, kingfish. Ooh, bit of sweet sauce on there. Oh, gets
Sure,
me going.
sure,
But
sure.
when look, I'd have a salmon steak. I'd eat that rare too. That'd be dope. Be my favorite steak, honestly. I prefer that over a normal T-bone or a rump. Actually, how do you guys have your steak? Other than medium rare,
Mac,
what kind?
I once triggered my flatmates. I got this really beautiful like sirloin steak. I took it home. I cooked it up, and my flatmate's like, "Oh, you know, old mate Skimmy, he's not big into cuisine. Let's see how he does this one, right?"
Yeah.
I've cooked it up, salt and pepper, the whole shebang, right? Then I just drizzle it in barbecue sauce, and I've never seen them so mad at somebody before. They were just like, "What on earth have you done? It's like a $40 steak, and you just made it look like a Happy Meal."
Mate, you could have put anything on it. Like barbecue, I think there's people in chat that'll probably like it. You know, I know there's other people that would
I was
prefer
happy.
tomato. But you don't.
Yeah.
Look, you get the gravy, you get the peppercorn gravy, but of course they're a bit harder to make at home. So barbecue it just suffices, doesn't it? Now, look, hopefully one of you guys won that $30 voucher, and I hope whoever won, enjoy your bloody dinner, mate. It's on the house. It's on Menulog. Now, let's jump on in and have a look at the damn bracket and where all the teams are currently sitting, because we've had two huge days of games, rather, because, of course, it was 3 games played in those 2 days. First day was a bit quicker than most with the 3-zip back-to-backs. That was a fun day, but then that day with the 5 long endurance testing damn games between Chiefs and PGG, that is something that we need to remember, Rusty.
I mean, that was an absolutely wild day of games between Chiefs and Pentanet.gg for sure, right? But if we harken back to the days prior with Peace and PGG, it was the 3-0 whitewash that led us to where we are today, Mac, with all of those 3-0 games. Very different forms and trajectories coming into this one, where that Tuesday match just delivered on every front.
Now, going into today as well, of course, we have this Peace and Order game, which is a chance for Peace to bounce back. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. I don't want to steal any of the points that we need to discuss, of course. But how are we feeling going into this? And then, of course, look, speaking about tomorrow, because one of these teams has to win, one of these teams also has to go up against PGG, and we know what they are doing at the moment. So it's just so hard for them. Like, get past step 1, but then step 2 is just like final boss, and it isn't even the final boss yet, Skimmy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the gauntlet run, which you can't mince your words with it, right? It is a case of you need to play your best. You need to put literally everything out there on the line. Yeah. You can't really afford to try and conceal strats at this point. You need anything. And I guess you're really looking at the PGG versus Chiefs series and saying, look how close that was on another night in another universe that could have been Chiefs in that lower bracket. So you're coming into this one thinking as Order or Peace. It needs to be a convincing performance, otherwise that might be the end of our line.
Yeah, look, one person hits, twice more on the Nexus instead of an inhib, maybe it'd be a different team there as well. Anyway, look, we can go and talk about that for days. It's probably a bad memory. I hope he's not watching. He probably is. Sorry, watching. I won't name you. Just if you know, you know. Anyway, let's talk about these champs, Rusty. So there's a couple that we want to touch on going into today's games. Now,
Yes.
Tell me, why are we talking about these 7 champions?
So just going down the list as best we can from left to right, it's all for different reasons, right? So we just picked a bunch of different champions that we've seen through playoffs that stand out for various reasons. So for Jinx, so far she's been 1 pick, 10 bans in LCO playoffs with a 100% presence, which in retrospection feels wrong, given that Zeri has looked like perhaps the best in slot AD right now. And to me, and I don't know if you guys feel the exact same on this, it's almost like they should be potentially swapping roles, because I feel like a lot of the current answers and meta picks right now in like the Zaya that we're starting to see more of, the Misfortune that's rising up as well, seem to handle the Jinx perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And Zeri has been going absolutely insane even in losses. I think the Chiefs and Pentanet.gg series taught us that Zeri's pick ban at this point. So that's why these two are on the list. I'd like to perhaps see more Jinx even let through with the absence of Zeri going through the bans instead. Hecarim is on this list for a couple of weird reasons. It feels like in the rest of the world, Hecarim's permanently banned, which is why we're seeing Volibear absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
But the last series featured 3 games, I think, without Hecarim picked or banned, like single-handedly ruining the pick ban stats of this champion, who I think everyone just agrees is incredibly strong right now and is maybe the best in slot jungler. And then people are picking Volibear afterwards. So I would like to see just a little bit more attention given to the Hecarim prior to the Volibear being immediately locked in blind, and perhaps recognizing that it is best in slot. Caitlyn represents both Caitlyn and Lux in lane. It feels like everyone's forgotten about Caitlyn simply existing, but Caitlyn and Lux together can still be super oppressive, bot-dominant teams like Peace, who are playing today. This is a duo that I think we should be keeping our eyes peeled on, and seeing if they actually go back to it, because it can still work. Lee Sin's on this list because he is 3 of the 4 100% pick ban champions, Mac. And if there's anything we've learned in the past couple of weeks, it is the Korean Lee Sin is broken. And they probably should continue to be banned. We probably shouldn't see it. However, there's no Korean Lee Sins today, which is why it is a curious pick to consider. And the last one here is the Ezreal and the Karma. So I think everyone has mixed opinions on this lane, on this duo. We're seeing Ezreal without the Karma. Oftentimes, Karma is the champion that kind of rounds Ezreal's laning out and lets him scale for free. But I don't think that everyone in OS is good enough at Ezreal to be able to pick it at all times. So I would, if I'm going to see Ezreal, I'd like to see the Ezreal Karma still, except for maybe a couple of exceptions in our league, Raze perhaps being one of those. Alternatively, just pick Sivir Karma. You can't mess that up. You really cannot mess that up in comparison.
I'd love to see a bit more Sivir in competitive play. It feels like locally it's been a little while. Now look, one of the sides of the Rift is working much better than the other side of the Rift. Skimmy, which one is it?
It's red side. No surprises there. Absolutely. Look at that 82% win rate so far in the playoffs. Red side domination, really, from a lot of these teams showcasing. They're leaving that last pick up for their top laner. The top laner gets the counter pick, and that justifies the priority in that rotation.
Yeah.
Because they're fighting the strength and laning phase, they're making it work elsewhere on the map, and they're making sure that their team as a whole have always got those numbers advantages. You can see the fact that they're always the first one to get the first Drake, to get the turret 70% of the time as well. It's just a lot of pressure, which is saying there are so many good champions at the moment that having blue side for that first pick, it doesn't feel good enough to warrant it, right? In the instant rotation that your opposition's getting on red side, they're just claiming a lot more. They've got a lot more definition of what they're hoping to achieve. So it does, once again, put a big focus on, as these playoffs continue, how much preference will go to that red side.
Yeah, it's a great question. Rusty, you want to touch on this one?
I feel like right now, red side is genuinely just stronger. So I'm, on this point, very much looking forward to today's best of 5 Mac to see what side these teams choose to go towards. Because it does seem like it is still a contentious conversation, even though the win rate reflects that it is.
Yeah, look, we'll see how that one goes. But look, for now, before we jump on into that match discussion, you guys have been sending in some quality content from the fans. Today, we asked you guys, what are your favorite casting moments from history? And it's obviously old mate here with the... Oh, he's clipping chip
wow.
it again. He's ready, except he's not actually yelling. He's just doing a face. He caught you, though.
It's a YouTube thumbnail. That's how you have to do it, right? That's all I've learned about being a content creator is you've got to have those moments.
Just big. Can we, Rusty, if I say, can we all do it, are you going to do it? Or are you
Nah.
No, I'm not going to do it then. Anyway, let's have a look at what you guys have sent in as your favorite memorable moments from casters throughout history, locally and then overseas as well. So for me, it was the roller coaster of ANX versus ROX Worlds 2016 when Deficiolol was trying to explain that the Zerot Voiding were... I don't know what that is.
Voidlings. The spawns.
Okay, Voidlings were stopping the minions, hitting the Nexus, feet pastry time, and LSX, or LS rather, if I remember correctly. So, Rusty, you seem to remember what this was about.
I do. This was the first Worlds that I got to cast, so I remember this one very fondly. This was the first time a wildcard region was taking it to a major region with any degree of success. Albus Nox Luna were absolutely monsters. They made the quarterfinals of this Worlds, and this was one of the biggest upsets that we have ever seen at a Worlds event, where Rox Tigers were an exceptionally good Korean team that just got completely done in by Albus Nox Luna. And it was, a couple of really hectic moments. If you watch the clip and you go back through time, it was like a Taric last hitting a Nexus with minions because he has the Baron buff and just ults himself. So he just becomes an invincible tank while the minions win the game for him. It was sick.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to go and look at that. It seems like a solid
sick.
moment in history. We have one more to get through before we start to talk shop. It's real_Dapper. Is this Rogue's fake account? Is that what's going on here? How in the world do you get to be that good, DOA, with respect to Mad Life? Now, you guys know this one?
Somewhat.
I've not heard of this clip. No, but I feel like Dowa's got a encyclopedia of just go-to clips that are just ingrained in league fabric.
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, Mad
think
Life
you can
is known as one of the best hook players of ancient League of Legends, Mac, in the Jurassic period of the LCK. So I would imagine this is just a really classic line from one of those moments where the hooks that he threw never missed.
Well, ladies and gents, it's time to get a little bit closer to the fun, not the game, but the giveaways. You guys at home can enter a giveaway worth $500 in prizes. So I'm not entirely 100% on exactly what it is, but I heard there's a swag bag, and then I heard there's some in-game points to win there as well. So lco.gg/playoffs giveaway. If you want to enter that, you can win yourself free stuff. And look, $500, just put your hand in, grab something, you'll get there. I think that's how it is. That all, you just put your details in, and you might win, and then you can get the stuff. And I'm sure if you did also type !mail in chat, you might hear about that at some point in case you forget. So make sure you do that as well. Anyway, Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about what we're all here for, all right? It's the game time. And before we start to talk about this, I want to hear from the players. So let's hear what they had to say going into today's game.
I think all the players in PACE are pretty good individually. Most of their drafts in recent times has not been optimal. I think it's probably their biggest downfall.
I thought they would be a lot stronger, like from their regular season. Our stage games against them, they were pretty one-sided. I think we had the toughest time against PACE.
We beat them 3-0 quite convincingly, and I think we just matched really well into order.
Their team is about the mid-jungle, Kirby and Kisei, strong individual skill players. When they don't work well together, the team kind of get lost.
Everyone on our team is playing really well in scrims right now. We've got a lot of different draft preps that we have planned.
Me and RP, we're gonna destroy people.
If you want to beat us, you have to make sure that your bot lane beats my bot lane harder than I can beat your top side.
We're much more coordinated as a team, and you guys better ban 5 jungles or you're gonna get 3-0'd.
But I think this time they're going to be wanting to win at least one game before they get knocked out.
We all know who's gonna be the person going to piss up PG. It's gonna be us. Peace.
Lisa seemed quietly confident, although I wouldn't say quietly, said it out loud. Now, I believe that's a good reason. We should start to chat PACE first here, because coming into this, they have been in the higher part of the bracket. They finished higher on the leaderboard coming into the playoffs, and head-to-head with Order, they've won every single time here, Skip.
They certainly have, and every single game for them has been a pretty definitive performance in that same conversation as well. I feel like Week 8, their last game in the regular split, was the closest of them all. But it just feels like, they are Order's kryptonite. They stack up quite nicely against them. I feel like Lisa and Appy certainly do a lot of work to try and mitigate the impact that Kisei and Kevy can put out onto the map. I feel like bot lane's always going to be the area to try and focus on as to can Cheon or Puma carry harder. And I feel like Tien's always had Bio's number. Even if Bio gets that last pick, you're not imagining he's going to look to try and challenge you with the champions like a Jax, for instance, or a Camille. He's much more likely to go on the Scion or the Ornn, and we've seen Tien as a result sort of be like, well, I can just do whatever I want on this map, right? Shove the wave, roam mid, go for team fights, and sort of excel in that regard. So I'm curious to see if PACE can still retain that level of form, because it's worked for them in the past, and no doubt that's what I'm hedging my bets on.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it works again today, because of course it's more than just the best of one, and there's more than 2 teams here as well. Well, more than 1 team. There is exactly 2 teams, Rusty.
That's true.
So please, my words, they're fleeting me. Can you save me? You're a word man.
Hey, the second team is going to be Order playing against PACE today. Now, PACE did lose their first best of 5 0-3. Order, on the other hand, won their one 3-0 against the Direwolves. There was only one shaky game for them, and that was the first game in their series. It feels like they shaped up and they sent Direwolves off very tidily after that point. The biggest person for me that I want to highlight, not just for this whole series, it is the mid-jungle duo, but in general is Kisei, because I think that he has improved the most from regular season to playoffs. I do think if you think back to the regular season, there was a couple of very shaky performances from the mid laner of the team. You're seeing one of those right here. But in general, he picks the Zillion up. It feels like he's found a bit more of an identity within his team. It feels more comfortable for Kisei. And he started to really shape up the rest of the squad around him, because that's the player that we knew, Mac, the year prior when he was on the Chiefs, was the hard carry mentality from the mid laner of what is now Order.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been missing. There's been, 2, maybe 3 games that I can recall of the 21 where he did sort of fill that void, right? But a lot of the time, it was more him setting other people up, or him sort of, it felt like he was playing weak side a lot of games, right? But playing weak side in mid, it's an interesting conversation to have, because I saw a lot of games where it was 0-something, or 2 to many more in the death column. And I think this is where he really needs to shine, right, Skimmy?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, up against PACE in their regular season games, he's only had 1 kill across all 3 matches. So you'd really look at him and say he needs to try and answer that call. I think, Rusty had a really good point, right? He looked a lot stronger in that playoff series up against Direwolves. So he introduced the Zillion into his champion pool. Before that, it was only Tally that played it in the mid lane. So now I sort of look at Kisse and say his champion pool almost looks like a hybrid between Tally and Yuri combined, with the assassin champions with like the Yones and the Yasuos, but also all those control mages as well. Maybe I even go one step further and I go, you know, it almost looks a bit like Halo and Violet in sort of pairing together, where Halo was always playing that Zillion and just allowed, you know, Violet to go off. We're seeing that exact same happen again with Puma, right? You can rely on Puma always being a consistent factor.
Yeah.
If you got the Zillion, the ultimate alone is enough to make that pick worthwhile.
That certainly is correct. Now, we have a fourth member of the panel that we love to chat to. That, of course, is Kitty, so let's bring her in for this beautiful Monday afternoon. What are you doing?
What is this?
Flapping?
I am
Butterflying?
a flower that's blooming because it is a new start to the week, being Monday. Happy Monday, guys. And being Monday, it is also playoffs day 3. So let's bring in Api for a chat before his game. So Api, you guys haven't dropped a game against Order in this split. So how are we feeling going up against them tonight in this series?
I hope we can win, like we used to do. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, hopefully you do win, because I believe the predictions, I may be a little biased, but I'm sure everyone knows that. So my next question is, we've seen a heavy preference towards the red side throughout playoffs, but with Peace being the only team that has consistently picked blue side, why does Peace prioritize first pick over counter pick?
Okay, this question actually got me out because I don't know the answer. I just always follow what coach says, what team think is good, and it's good. Me personally,
that's okay. I'm sure Skimmy will ask.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Draft Lord will give us some answers, but I'm sure you can answer this next question, which is for the last best of 5 series against PGG, we saw Ari being first picked twice for Peace. So why is there such a heavy preference for Ari in these drafts in the current meta?
Ari is just like a S tier champion in mid lane right now, and it also I'm pretty good Ari, I'll say. So it's just very high priority in our team and in like many team in the world actually.
Well, you're definitely probably one of the better Aris we've seen in the LCO, because you had a really good performance in last week's series. Well, Api, I'm going to let you go and have you prepare for your match, and best of luck.
Thank you.
What Draft Lord says goes. That's what I got from that interview. And the
Facts.
players have absolutely no say in the matter. Fortunately, you guys at home, you do have a say. And of course, that's going to be my prediction at some point, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I feel like, look, Peace today, they're in a good position, but it's just all about that mid-jungle matchup, right? Like, there's just so much that could happen there, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of flexibility in both players as well from each respective team, and I think that's going to be the crux of where a lot of the success is found when we actually get into the game.
100%. Now, Rusty, Skimmy rather, talk to me. So, top, Tian, Bio, Panther, who's going to be winning that? Because Bio, it feels like he's played weak side a lot of the time, and Tian will usually get a chance at playing whatever he wants, but he'll pick first, right?
He will, and I think this is an interesting talking point, right? Sort of going as to why, if Peace continued going in the blue side avenue, it would seem a little bit bizarre, because Tian's got this insanely big champion pool where he's got a lot of unique ideas that he could bring to it, right? I mean, you look at his time in America, he was playing things like Sejuani, Tahm Kench, Nocturne, top lane. The man was just saying, I'll do whatever I want. He's played Lilia before back here in OC. He's got Kayle, Wukong, whatever, tucked away. But if he is going to go into a blind pick scenario, he has to default to champions like, you know, the Jace, the Gragas, the Graves, which won't allow him to truly showcase his individual prowess. And I feel like we saw just how punished that got up against Pensnet when Winter was able to get that pick. And, you know, the same could be said for Biopemper, right? He loves to play the tanks, but he's certainly got a lot of unique champion, you know, stored away there too. So I feel like top lane can certainly be a big talking point in terms of finding draft advantages as the series goes on.
Yeah, I feel like every single lane has its own talking points right now. Someone else that's got a talking point is you, Kitty, because I heard you've got someone else down on the sidelines.
Well, talking about Biopanther, I've actually grabbed him for the second interview for tonight. So, Bio, congratulations on the clean 3-0 against Styles last week. So how are we feeling going up against these tonight with just seeing their previous performance?
For me, I'm feeling quite confident, especially against Peace. They're very, like, early aggression, so I feel like if we can just, like, be resilient and, like, attack them in the early game, I feel like we should be doing really well against them.
That's great to hear. Well, speaking about last week, we saw the series against Styles where Order actually saved counterpick for top, where you guys responded with an Ornn twice. Being a team that consistently drafts Ornn, what was the decision behind that?
It's more so just like team composition. Like, I'm willing to play the carries if I need to play the carries, but I feel like for me it's all about the team, and like if it's the best pick there, I'm going to pick it. I'm not going to pick anything that's going to just flip the game. Like, it's all about consistency and making sure that the game is stable. So like for me, winning is everything. Like, if I need to like skill gap the end today, I will. But if I don't have to, then like I don't have to. It's just that's all that matters. Is winning is all that matters to me. So it's just I'll pick the best pick, and that's why I picked Ornn.
Well, like Puma said, it's a dream having Biopanther play the weak side every single game. Well, every single game he prefers. So we also saw 2 zillion mid games coming out of Kisei last week. And how would you actually say the team's identity has developed since the start of the split till now?
I feel like both me and Kisei have been like more facilitators nowadays. We've been playing more like Karma, Zillion, and we're facilitating our AD carry and Kirby. So we're just having more playstyles in our like, you know, repertoire, and then we're just like going to like show it off today. So it's just we're like developing new playstyles, so it's just really cool to see.
Well, I'm excited to see what Order has developed, and best of luck in your series, Bio.
Thank you so much.
Always good to chat with the big man. He's just got that bloody contagious smile, doesn't he? He's just so happy, even when they're losing, even when they're winning. Man's just having a good damn time. Now, you guys need to talk to me, right? Because I'm hearing about the side selection, and we already spoke about what was the stronger side. He's had the selection, and they've gone with blue. So, riddle me this, Skimmy. Why do you think they've done that?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because, you know, the big talking point for me is you want to try and mitigate the impact that Tien finds himself in, right? He was, you know, severely abused, for lack of a better term, in that last series. I look at, like, the first pick priorities for them. Once upon a time, it would have been, you know, give Chan like an Aphelios or a Jinx type character, and you just auto-win the game. Nowadays, it just seems like they're locking in, like, Ari for RP or Lee Sin or Hecarim instead. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. They are certainly really good champions, but not sure if blue side is the angle for them just yet.
All right, Rusty, you want to touch on this one as well?
Yeah, I feel like the only reason I would be picking blue here is because I have a priority first pick that I don't think my opponents would be banning, and it's something that is contested perhaps between the two teams. So like I'm expecting Hecarim, potentially Zeri, probably Lee Sin ban, so it might be a case of like Ari, LeBlanc, or Jinx first pick, so like 3 options. It's still weird to me. I would rather give Tan counterpick 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand why I would put him on blue side and make him blind pick when you know that Bio is extremely counterable.
It's a conversation that I dare say you guys are going to talk about in every one of the drafts we see tonight.
Yeah.
We'll see if that swaps throughout the night. So, look, you guys at home, I'm waiting to hear your say as well on how you think the series is going to go, because I think here we are quite split, but thanks to the Dare fan vote, you guys can let us know what the community thinks. Just get your Twitch points, put them in up there somewhere. So over there, there's buttons. Put them on. You can go custom amount and put it all on, because this is where you need to use those Twitch points. That'll save them for the grand final. Look, I won't really get.
Uh-oh.
Is that someone's house?
Uh-oh, yeah.
Am I about to have to evacuate here, guys? What's going on
Skimmy,
here?
are you okay?
I'll solo cast.
We
Oh,
might
it's
be
the solo cast angle.
I got it covered.
Skimulus.
Well, we can listen to a little bit of ASMR as I burn on down. My prediction is I might have to run away.
Well, quickly, speaking of that, let's have a look at our predictions before you to leave. And anyway, so Rusty's gone for order. We got Peace for Skimmy and Kitty, and you guys with the Dare fan vote will be doing my prediction. Skimmy, fortunately, I had some play-by-play practice last week, and I could probably jump in for a moment, but this
Lost
is
our
fun.
play-by-play. He's got to
This is fun.
evacuate, bro.
Well, I can always go super scuffed mode. We can just get out the old mobile phone on the streets getting it done. You know, we can be like Mr. Weather Reporter. Oh my God, look at the smoke coming out the building. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I might just run off screen for a second and see what's going on, but
No worries.
on with the show. On with the show.
Yep. Just go see if it's a
Yeah,
drill
safety first.
or if it's
Oh, you'd
his.
think it's oceanic internet, wouldn't you, Mac? But somehow we find a way, even if the internet's working.
What a great Monday afternoon. Now, look, Kitty, I haven't asked your opinion just yet, but please tell me what you think is going to happen this game. You said you've gone for peace in the predictions. Do you think it's going to be a 3-zip?
Well, I did go for Peace for a 3-0 tonight because historically, Peace hasn't lost a single game to Order. But with just seeing Order's recent form, maybe it will be a tough one. But I'm sure that the boys got it all back together and they are back in form.
Okay. Now, Rusty, tell me about why you think Order's going to win. We didn't really get to have that chat. Unfortunately, there was an emergency going down.
Yeah, someone had to evacuate real quick. I feel like Order recently have kind of shaped up a lot. We have always called them, and it's not just us, it's the other teams of the LCO have called them a best-of-5 team. So I think there's always going to be those expectations where the first best-of-5 we saw of them, they managed to 3-0, and Peace, on the other hand, looked extremely shaky. Their drafts in particular were the issue, I do think. And again, starting on blue, I have my reservations for what to expect from Peace in the draft phase. So they're going to have to kind of prove their worth to me. So I'm defaulting to trusting Order much more.
Okay, well, it's good to see that someone's gone for Order. I wonder what Twitch chat are going to go for. I guess we'll see when we jump on into the game. Word on the street is I will be yelling in the microphone until Skimmy figures out what the hell's going on and we get him back. So, Rusty, I hope you're ready to run it back like last week.
Oh, we're running it back.
Woo!
It's you and me again.
We were joking about, you potentially subbing out for Kitty. So who knows, Kitty, we could cast at some point tonight too if everything keeps on going downhill. Who knows? Welcome to Oceania, right? This is just a whole bunch of fun. Now, look, game is getting close to ready. So, Kitty, what are you expecting from this first game? Are we going to see anything crazy? We did hear Kevy say they've been trying some different things in scrim. So are you expecting a different approach in the jungle?
I'm expecting, well, this is Rusty's point. I'm going to steal from him. We're expecting a Volibear first pick from that first pick, that from the blue side, sorry. And I want to see Caitlyn Lux once again being picked by Peace because that was what was working for them in the earlier regular season. But they stopped picking it and they replaced it with Ezreal Karma where they find little to no success. So I really want to see the Volibear with the Caitlyn and Lux just diving towers and eating up those plates.
Yeah, it was very good. And I feel like Peace was the team that managed to slide it through draft most often, right? Like 2 or 3 times we got to see that Lux Caitlyn and just, someone walks into a trap. They are dead. Like, they are just gone skis. That was the best thing about it. It was just so much burst damage on someone that couldn't move. They couldn't do a thing about it. Now, let's talk about, Puma as well. So he can play that Ashe. We did ask about that, and I have good news, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to jump on into Champ Select. Kitty, we'll see you after the game.
How do we cut Skimmy out of this? Is it going to be me in the chair with you talking?
Yes,
it is.
I am.
That's what I wanted.
I am now a chair. Congratulations.
It's me in a chair. Let's go back.
I'm still here. I'm definitely a cherry man. But look, we are very deep on into this draft. So having a look here, a couple of bands coming through. Of course, that Evelyn band to force Kevy onto something different, which looks like it's going to be that Hecarim, Rusty.
Yeah, we've actually gone right through the pick and ban extremely fast here, Chair. There he is. Max back. Welcome.
My nose.
I guess quick recap. Zillion is a very nice target ban away from Kisse. Evelyn is a target ban from Kevy. And Misfortune is a target ban from Puma. So you have to keep in mind here that Peace on blue side have thrown out all meta bans. Right? They've just tried to immediately take away targeted champions. On Order's side, Ahri, Jinx, Ryze, all high priority meta-based type of champions. And because they don't have first pick, that stands out as a priority. Peace, however, with Hecarim up, with the Volibear that both myself and Kitty thought would be first pick, just gets completely disregarded, and they go for the Xayah. That is odd to me, because it kind of leaves the floor open, Mac, for not only the Hecarim, but a bottom lane of their choosing into the Xayah lane.
Yeah.
And they opt into the Karma, who has the movement speed to work with the Hecarim, Mac, and is also flexible with mid.
Okay, well, how's that Xayah going to go up against the Caitlyn? Because Lux bans come through, so we're not going to see the Caitlyn-Lux combo for Order, but we do get to see Puma playing Caitlyn. So what else is going to synergize with that in terms of... Oh, my God. Sorry, Karma's already been picked. See, I'm coming in. I'm being thrown in the deep end. My brain's a little behind, but we're catching up.
You're still right. Like, you're still in the right ballpark because Karma was flexible. So what you see from Peace's 4-5 bans was the Lux and the Gnar, so they still banned away one of the combos. So it is just going to be Karma going bottom lane. I think that makes sense with the Lux removed. Karma Hecarim still works as a jungle support duo that moves, but it is going to be our bottom lane confirmed here. And this is actually fantastic Mac, because not only do we see the Victor picked early from Peace, with a high priority on that pick, the Twisted Fate's going to be picked in response. Apologies, because we're really trying to keep up with the pace of this draft.
Yeah.
We'll get plenty of time when we're in the game, but TF, never seen in OS, so that's a big deal.
Sejuani.
Is that Sedge top?
Where's this going? It's going top?
Yeah, I think that's going top lane.
Okay.
But as Blind? As Biopanther has
Blind Sedge
the freedom of seeing this?
with a Ornn?
I mean...
Okay, we're getting new picks. We're getting Sedge in the mix. Of course, we got the Tarm down bot lane with the Zaya. Viego, jungle. Yep. Can Viego go top? Or is Viego just like, I am jungle? Like
Viego's jungle. I
Yeah.
don't think that would ever get flexed to a solo lane. They've nerfed lane Viego very much. So it is going to be, and this is so funny because I think it was Kitty that mentioned this during the pregame that TN, while he was in North America, played these abstract top lane champions. I just didn't expect to see this picked completely blind on blue side, but they immediately reveal the strategy from game number 1 here, Mac, and it's just a tank top lane into a tank top lane. I don't feel like Sejuani outright wins this. They just picked it because they like it, and it does work really well with Tahm Kench and with Viego.
Well, look, it very much is, go hard or go home because it is for elimination. So you've got to show your hand now. And that's exactly what Peace are doing. I love that they are just happy to let this change up happen. It worked for PGG in their games that they won against Chiefs. So I'm expecting it to potentially work here for Peace against Order. But I guess we'll see once we do jump in because Kevy is a machine in the jungle and he's got that Hecarim, which of course is just so damn strong at the moment. So how do you see this one working, Rusty, looking at how the draft has unfolded?
Yeah, look, I still feel like I'm mentally catching up from Skimmy having to evacuate. This draft went so fast. I guess to very quickly try and take stock of the compositions, I'm expecting a lot of good things from the bottom side of the map from Order, and I feel like their game plan is about isolating top lane, playing towards Puma, getting Puma those leads by moving through mid lane to bot. So Kevy needs to be strong for Kisei to enable that to go towards the bot side of the map. That's my expectations there. And then they go into mid game, they have a Karma Hecarim duo with Caitlyn being able to post up at turrets. It's very dangerous if they get ahead. Where I think on Peace's side of the fence here, they can play very passively bot lane in their 2v2. I don't think the Sejuani is a champion that gets played towards too much, but it absolutely can.
I guess we are about to find out, Rusty, because it's game 1 of this best of 5 series. We got Order, we got Peace, and both of these teams, they want that big fat W. So we'll see how that one unfolds. It doesn't look like we're going to have too much invade action early, but fortunately for you guys at home, we have the Draft Lord. We have Midlord to have a chat to for this interview. Midlord, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
How you going? Oh, we're glasses buddies. I gave you your tips on how to keep those glasses clean before. But look, you're 3-0 against Order this split. How much confidence does that give you for your match tonight?
Actually, I want to say 100, but I'm not sure because our player is uncomfortable like recently. They got covered. So maybe 30%, 60%, I think.
Ooh, 30? 50% confident. Well, hopefully the boys are still feeling it because we chatted to Appy in the interview. We heard he was a bit under the weather. But another question we've got for you is, you preferred blue side recently. Why is that? Because red side has just got the stats.
Actually, I think the side selection is doesn't affect that much. We just like threw a coin if it's just threw the coin by the right side or blue side.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Midlord, and I wish you best of luck in the game. We're going to let you go.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye, Draft Lord. Now, Rusty, what did we just miss? Looked like it was late invade.
Yeah, I mean, during the interview there with the Lord of Drafts himself, we saw a late invade by Order. They effectively bring extra members to the play. It's something that perhaps wasn't expected.
Yeah.
From Peace outright. They still had enough vision to place down, and they still had the senses tingling, right, that something was up. So they still, are able to disengage with it without death. But it is going to be a red buff taken away by Hecarim, which means that Lisa no smite was used, has to disengage on that side of the map completely, is now walking over to the red buff of the opposing side of the map. The interesting thing here, Mac, is that Order aren't going to go and contest it.
Yeah.
They're just going to handshake the clear. It's just a little bit slower for Lisa as a result, right? Won't have a leash, won't have support from the team. But what this actually does is it isolates bot lane as a 2v2, where the jungler of Order is always nearby and the jungler of Peace is never close.
The old vertical jungling, and of course with the tanks at top, they're both pretty much going to be able to play safe for the most part, so Lisa may just have to focus on that mid lane. I guess we'll see if that one unfolds as expected. Order popping that level 2 first, and they've got lane prio. They've got half a damn plate already knocked away at, and they are just chipping on it down. There's such a large wave here. And Peace, look, they pop level 2 as well. They can't really do too much here, Rusty.
Yeah, this is kind of going as expected, you would think down here. Karma Caitlyn, very oppressive, very high push, where I feel like Lux Caitlyn, which is the 2v2 we're more used to, has a bit more kill threat. This has much more push and turret breaking threat to get those plates down. So this is going to be expected for a little while, and especially with the pressure that can exist from Kevy and can be exerted at all times. You wouldn't be surprised if it continues on this trend to see, you know, an 8-9 minute bot lane full turret, unless something starts to swing, and that's where full clears from junglers into their second rotations come about. But first and foremost, Kevy's still going to be operating on the right side of the map. Kisei also hovering bot side. Can see him disappear. He's not roaming with intent just yet, but the threat of a dive is certainly possible on the next wave as it builds to crash. Beats nose though.
Scope that one out. Good timing on the ward. Gonna take this Krug. Got Kevy. Save that Q. On now. Ooh, Ian. It's a chunk of damage. Bio in a very happy position. He's just gonna try to farm this on the crash. Might even just go for the back here. Surely not. It's a cannon coming, son. Oh.
He has teleport, so it would just be about committing the teleport to hold the turret, but it seems like he does want to stick around. One of the biggest strengths, obviously, that an Ornn can provide is that you can shop while in lane, but some things you can't purchase, such as potions. So at a certain point, he will still have to go back.
And I'm back.
Hey.
So let's get it done, boys. What
right.
a draft I've missed out on. Look, full salam.
We lost Mac. See you, Mac.
Life is good.
This is TriCast?
Oh, well, let's get him in. Why not? Let's do it like we're doing LAN. What's happened here, boys? I mean, we've got a lot of unique picks.
We have. Look, I assume Mac is God, so thank you for covering. Quick recap for you is that it is a Sejuani top lane. That is the only really unique pick, but the one thing that we haven't spoken about too much yet as Drake's being done skimmy is the Twisted Fate in mid. Which is, as you would know, not seen in OS ever.
No.
Is going to be seen today by Kisei in game number 1. And I think that's a really big statement pick, because the fact that Oceania doesn't go for it, there was a lot of reasons and conversations that could be had around this. One of them is that OS just kind of sucks at playing utility mid. But Zillion's already kind of disproven that. It's just that Zillion is more for team fighting, where Twisted Fate's more for the map. So there is a big point of pressure now on the head of Kisei to see if he can actually utilize his Twisted Fate effectively, or if it actually does suffer, and we know exactly why it doesn't get picked in OS.
Certainly do. We have been quite outspoken about the Rise picks as well. Whilst he's very strong and played internationally, hasn't been able to find those same levels of success. And if KCS looks to try and, replicate that performance he found last week where he looked so impressive, then this is certainly one of those champions to do. So level 6 is there. We all know just how important that Destiny is. I'm so glad I touched on some of these unique champions. The fact that Tien does run it back really with that Sejuani right at the gates.
Yeah. I mean, the Sedge pick was, I want to say it's extremely unexpected, but at the same time, who actually knows what to expect from the top laner of Peace here, right? Like, he just has such a breadth of champions that he could pull out at any moment with confidence as well, it's worth adding. And I do think that with the changes, in the items between seasons, Fimbulwinter being included into the item roster for tier builders as well, suddenly tank top laners get a little bit more flexibility in how they get to play, and some new unique champions start to rise through the ranks, and Sejuani is one of those.
It certainly is. We get to see what this actually can do in the later stages of this game. We've certainly seen him have a little bit of fun with some of these champions across the split, with the likes of Sejuani coming out. But I don't think he'll ever be one of those players that will say, yeah, draft me Karma top. That's the angle for me. He'll certainly be keen to try and pop off with those bruises. So far, so good. Nothing too wild has happened in this game that I can really detect. What are the bans like? Anything wild in that regard?
The only thing that stood out from the ban phase was that Peace banned... Oh, jeez, that was a lot of damage. Peace banned entirely away from target champions from Order, so like Evelyn, Zillion as well, right? A couple of specific champion picks where Order went for completely stock standard meta. Kevin, very cool.
Kevy is in trouble, and look, he's gone into the jungle, looking to try and steal some camps. He's got a Karma Shield, he's got a Summon to heal, but that's just not enough sustain, especially into what Lisa can do here. He claims your soul, he'll fall on down as well. It's a 1-for-1, and both junglers are the casualties, but maybe more. Appy is only being revealed now. He's going to come on down, level 7, so strong, but no. Just a flash across the wall, and Corporal's out.
I don't think Corporal saw him at all. There was a ward in the Tribush that might have spotted him, but Corporal seems to be laser focused on dealing damage to Peace. He just didn't even notice. Had the flash though, so was always going to survive. And as you're seeing on your screen, Kise just not able to get to the play. It seems like he was forced back to base. And you know, one small point about this mid lane 1v1 matchup is Victor always pressures Twisted Fate. It is very simple to execute poke onto a TF. If he wants to last hit a minion with a card to stay in lane, has to be blue cards, right? Laser's free to hit. Q's potentially free to throw, and you can easily trade against him. So it is, generally speaking, just a losing lane for Twisted Fate, but it's not about the lane itself. However, if Appy's the one having first roam, it doesn't bode well.
Does not bode well, especially when you think that is the Twisted Fate's job in this game. Destiny comes out nice and early here as the ace in the hole comes across. Gold card is primed up and ready to go, but doesn't decide to pull the trigger. Shows a bit of restraint here as Kevy and Corporal are swimming through the dangerous river that is topside. Just going to poke their head into Herald instead as the rest of Peace back away to lane.
And that is a huge bot wave that is currently crashing on the turret. That is actually just depression as it hits the wave. This Herald becomes crucial for Order as any kind of trade. Zaya is also walking up here. Puma Cord.
Oh. Ocean Fissure goes out super early on, not going to catch anything on that regard. Going to give them a bit of a slow as Puma's been zoned to the side. He's got the red buff, out comes the call of the Forge God. There's a one-man dive. No, going to be cancelled. Beats in trouble. Flashing across the wall, gets headbutt without vision. But they knew that's the only place he could be. They claim the Heralds, and they get a kill.
Really important for Order that they don't lose that Herald play. In fact, that is incredibly hard winning for them. And it makes you question the decision of Peace here. They seem to have really wanted to fight that one, but Desire, look at the CS between ADs. We haven't spoken too much about the farm itself, but 47 to 85, 10 minutes in is terrible for the Zaya lane. It is hard losing. We'll see this fight one more time before we continue that point. A couple of unique things here is Kise flashing into the pit. That's how confident he is that they are going to be winning this fight. The Chaos Storm was very much wasted early here just to deal damage. That is why the flash comes across. But the Herald gets secured. The Ornn ultimate was perfectly timed, and unfortunately for Beats, as he flashes the wall, he is still going to be caught by the Ornn AoE on that knock-up.
Good pressure as everybody looked to try and come together and see what they could get done on that occasion. You felt like TN had the inline track, zoning away Puma, locking him in that Herald pit, but it wasn't to be the case. Just going to be outside of that Teva range as they're going to trade top for bot here, looking for that first turret of the game.
So there's a couple of big things, right? Top turret plates are good. They're going to start influencing it. But what you're seeing right now on the screen was just from 2v2 laning, right? Just from the vertical jungle being forced at level 1 by Kevy. It was a late invade, just for your reference.
Ooh, here we go. He sent the ghost, he's got the burst, he's got the damage, but he's been locked inside a stasis trap. TN is low! Instant flash away, it's not enough damage! Oh no, Kise, he tried to find it. That's a flash, but that was an ultimate. And no, I think he might pay the ultimate price for this one, but we are literally trading out cooldowns and playing happy feet with it. Nobody dies.
Blinking health bars extremely close for Order to find kills, but Peace just too clean. Lisa has ult.
Yeah, he's got it this time, though. You can't run away from this one. A little bit too much to try and juke away from.
And again, extra little bit going the way of Peace. Just kind of pulling a rabbit out of a hat here. The top plates, it's a full turret in the end that gets traded, even though Order were very content in how the map was played out. And it feels like this game just completely changed pace, completely changed style, and a lot of the focus at the first Rift Herald spawn. And through a lot of that chaos, it seems like Peace are the ones who realistically have come out the most ahead. There is still a Herald in pocket, though. There is still a possibility that this top turret gets really hard pressured and they get an extra turret. But Peace have still traded back really nicely the past couple of minutes.
They certainly have, despite all those advantages, as you say, would have found. Peace are certainly keeping them on their toes with the gold lead not being too far away. It's essentially dead even, but there is a lot of gold on the map that can be realized. They've just yet to find it. I am very concerned, though, about just how far ahead Puma is at this stage of the game. He's up by such a significant margin. We know that Caitlyn is one of those champions that wants to be in this kind of position. Peace need to find a way to try and shut this one down.
At least it's here, no ultimates. They're not going to be able to chase that one in with any kind of intent to kill. They are just, in fact, bodying Order away. Deterring the Rift Herald being summoned, but a waves crashing in mid lane. The biggest thing that happened through the early game was that the Xayah Tahm Kench lane seems to be picked to stop any kind of kills going onto their lane, but Appy's caught.
He's caught, yep. He's got no vision and just stood up in that lane. Tried to catch the next one. Oh no, look at that, the gold card. He's flashed. But that has travelled through space in time to connect with him. Not done yet though. Looking at bottom now, yeah, that's a great little Featherstorm to prevent Bio landing the full combo. A lot of CC could have been laid there. And now this is where Order can look to truly break ahead and find that gold lead we were just mentioning.
Lots of pressure comes out when a Karma gets active on the map as well with both Twisted Fate and Hecarim, because it is such a strong enabling champion for what both of them want to do in finding those picks, moving quickly. Kevy should be fine here and is just continuing to disengage. But Cheon's just holding on for dear life. He's got an Ornn pressuring him. That was both of them without a Mythic. Just gets bodied out at his own inner turret and just tries to catch minions as best he can. This game is kind of just devolving into a map state where picks are the only course of action at all times. We're not seeing multiple members on the same screen really at all.
No, and I feel like you can certainly make an argument that they want to entertain that idea, especially with the likes of a Sejuani and Viego hunting for those skirmishes, trying to skill check you before items or level disadvantages really come into the conversation. But I guess, returning to that point again, you want to make sure that Appy has the time, the luxury to become that late game beast where he can literally one-shot this Twisted Fate, do the same to Puma. Obviously, we know that Cheon, or with this champion build, right, where it is the Eclipse into the Miramana Rush, that 2-item spike is enough. And you saw us saying, well, we need those breakpoints to be found. Otherwise, yeah, certainly a team as well drilled as Order will come ahead.
And Order did start this one off their head for sure. As it currently stands, Appy is hovering mid lane to protect. It feels like the game is Corporal stun.
Instant flash.
A little bit.
May have just been low.
Yeah, just kind of unnecessary from Corporal. I mean, ultimately the laser had already shown that Appy was in the bush. Why continue to posture yourself in a place where you can just get damage put onto you for free? And recognize that you're in perhaps the weaker position and just posture a little bit further away, especially with the Twisted Fate who was showing on the bottom wave, I believe, at that time. So a flash gone just before the Drake spawns in 10 seconds, and it is Order with both Drakes in hand. You would expect them to have a crack at least towards going for this third one, because then it becomes a win condition.
So it would be, but everybody's grouped up in mid lane again. Wave's just being pushed out bot side by Tien. Going to group up with the rest of his team. Claw of Portugal goes out. That's going to knock up so many members. Devour is used nicely by Beats on towards Appy. That's a big disengage tool. Just to respect what the Ornn can do. Order, meanwhile, going to say, if you're going to sacrifice mid-pro just to control the river, we'll look to try and take down that mid-tier one instead. Gold card goes across, dash away from Tien, back into the river we go. And now the Dragon is there.
There's a lot of tangoing, there's a lot of dancing happening right now, but Tien...
Oh! That's dirty, that's a 3-man charge! And I feel like Bio's done enough this time. They've just really toyed the idea of, you want to make that play, but he will.
I mean, you take the ARAM on against an Ornn, he's going to find the angles. Peace not relenting here, however. They are going to have another look at this fight. Tien stays on the flank, he's on vision though.
Yes, oh, Glacier Prison goes out. Once again, there's no stun, but there's a lot of slowing members. Another 3-man knockup by Biozorn. And now the Heartseeker to try and run away, but he's been found as a heartbroken individual. They've lost 2. Surely now in a 3v5, they have to concede that potential soft win.
I think Peace just choose to double down on the play, and they get punished twice at the exact same play. Twice by Biopanther, twice by the man who will pick on and will always find an angle where other top laners will not. And now it is 3 Drakes solely in the favor of Order. We'll watch this second part of the fight one more time, because it is just simply a crisp knock-up. Easy follow-through from Kevy. Easy follow-through from the rest of Order. And Kisei just gets to threaten with that stun. The second point here is that they want to contest the Drake. Perhaps they've said, you know, every ultimate is gone from Order. There's summoner spells missing from both Caitlyn and TF. Sejuani ult, however, just misses. And again, 2 people walk up. It is Appy, it is Lisa. Very valid stun targets for Biopanther. Tian's ult just missing. So close to hitting a stun perhaps on a carry, and maybe that's a different fight, Skimmy, but not this time.
Not this time at all. I mean, it just doesn't get any easier if you're the Ornn player in that situation. You're thinking, we're winning the skirmishes. Yes, you've got some late game scaling, but don't forget what I can do as well. The ultimates go across. The items are there for myself. That innate tankiness is going to be so relenting that if you're allowing me to step up like this and get those multi-man knockups on cooldown, then you are in a very dire situation. And you've got to look and see what Beats can look to try and achieve now. What Peace as a whole can do to try and isolate out these key members.
And all of this fighting, all of this A-ramming, all of this pressure in the past 5 minutes, Skimmy, that has existed for both teams grouping up has favoured Puma and has really hurt Peace. Falling even further behind is the CS of Chaeon, 130 at 18 minutes, as Appy is collecting the majority of the waves, just trying to hard clear. And the Twisted Fate was a little bit more comfortable sitting in those side lanes for 1 or 2 extra waves here and there. That was a nice dodge.
That was a great dodge, wasn't it? Second Herald comes across. Tien, this time he lands the stun. Oh, but there it is. The Onslaught of Shadows to run away from that one. Ult trade. And it's just going to be a disengage as a reset comes across into that one. Oh, the Caliber Net is going to be... No, cancel that. Featherstorm, fantastic trading again. And once more, we're just looking at ultimate to be traded, but still Order in firm control. Look at Bio bot sides.
Yeah, Bio's just going to be able to push and crash the wave in at the bot lane in a turret. Remember that this Rift Herald just got reset twice. Order reset it, Peace contest the objective, but then Order immediately make the second play mid. This is just playing around your winning Caitlyn. The fact that Puma is ahead of Chaeon means if they're ever meeting 1v1 in a lane, you have the Caitlyn as a point that is an advantage. And that is just coming up trumps.
Tell me you're not just live, love, laughing right now if you're Puma. 2 items completed so early on, your lane counterpart so severely behind, and your ultimate is enough to justify that huge get-out-of-jail-free card every single time. You're winning in the side lanes. You're just winning across the board. And I feel like the 2k gold lead that we are seeing, it feels bigger, quite honestly.
I mean, there is a winning bot lane. There is a mid laner who has the extra gold from his stacked deck passive on Twisted Fate and his even farm with the Victor. The Hecarim has kills, and Ornn is the only place that is behind in farm, but has a kill to compensate a little bit there. You can see that reflected through the total gold here, right? The Twisted Fate is even with his opponent, but is actually 500 ahead. Things going so incredibly well for Order at this point in the game. And a little bit of flexibility exists in how I think they could continue to play the game out with a lead, Skimmy. But the number one most important thing is that every time Puma posts up in mid lane, or whatever lane it may be, he is protected to set up the trap line, and it is Peace that have to walk into him. If Peace are walking forwards, I think their comp is struggling. If Peace are kiting backwards, I actually think their comp is incredibly strong.
Just whether or not they get given that opportunity to play in that fashion, because certainly they've been trying to charge ahead with the Sejuani and the Viego, catching out a target, burning at least a flash at the bare minimum. But at some point, those trades aren't really netting the overall impact that you're after. And I think we really saw from that goal difference that, yes, 2k in favor of Order, that really is just isolated to Puma's Caitlyn.
Skimmy, you also missed this in the draft phase as there was an evacuation required. Zaya was first picked.
Okay.
So it does leave a bit of a sour taste perhaps in the mouth if this is how the first pick priority from Peace is going to perform.
That's surprising because it's really crept up. I mean, it's certainly been banned away, but you look at some of the games we've had in the playoffs so far, it's always been picked in that second rotation. If, you know, at most, like a third pick. Not sure if it's a first pick, worthy pick.
That was really insane poke by Appy just prior to this Drake spawning. It feels like Order perhaps have even resolved to not face check, but the Ornn comes out.
Oh no, I've seen this play happen already. In they jump. This time, the headbutt knocks up nothing. Out they go, looking in place. So much CC on to beat Snappy, but they've lost no health. They're losing. The disengage is in favor here for Peace. They're going to try and kite on back. They've got the health advantages.
And yes, you can have a Karma, yes, you can have all the shielding, but you are just, you're gone. The soul point is not a consideration. Even the heal had to be burned.
Really close to getting the kill. It is just going to be the Drake secured. Peace earned that one. They just have Appy putting in an insane amount of work. Appy really has been the hero of this roster in playoffs, consistently performing even if the rest of the team does not. And it's going to net Peace not just the Drake, but a turret as well. Order, it feels like needlessly try and force for the play when it was perhaps already lost.
They certainly wanted to wrap that one up tonight, perhaps even feeling as strong as we were mentioning just before. Not to be the case, though. I do want to do a quick bit of a hard pivot towards the Sejuani one more time, because I feel like, you know, looking at his last time he's played this one, he did opt for an Ignite, teleport variation, rush the Frostfire Gauntlet, but into his second item was the Anathema's Chains. Now, obviously, that was Season 11. Now we've got the likes of a Fimble Winter, which is going to put in a lot of work, especially as these bruises is that go-to nowadays, but I would be curious to see if he went for the Anathemas one more time and just said, that is a target, we're locking down, and all that hard work you put in for the first 20 minutes, it's just been undone.
Anathema's Chains is just such an underrated item as well. It is so incredibly powerful for champions that have crowd control or against single damage sort compositions. It's starting to feel a little bit like that is possible, as these two top laners are actually duking it out. TF in.
Instant flash away, but no, the gold card is buffered just in time, and look at the lockdown they have between the 1 and 2 of them. You can get a shield, you can try and run, you can try and dash, but why have you dashed next to a wall? Now, the classic line, Rusty, was he just buying space because the Baron's been started by the other 4?
He has created a lot of space. Baron already at 2k HP Skimmy, but the teleports are coming in. It's a fight.
Oh! Bio's going to get another nasty charge, but Peace, they just want to disengage. They do not want to entertain this fight. Order, they certainly do. They've removed one Baron buff. They're going to try and find a second. Lisa in trouble running away. Beats with the Inspired Recall. It's just not quick enough. He's going to burn a flash, but was that necessary? You just take that L and move on in, because that's going to be a very staggered recall timer. Rather, a respawn timer at that. And there is nowhere to go, as we are now just Alcove Gaming.
Yeah, nowhere to go for the Tahm Kench. The Frog is clogged, the mid lane is being pushed, the inner turret will drop, and the Baron play from Peace defaults to negative as Order go from coast to coast and continue to make plays. I mentioned this just a couple of minutes ago, but the flexibility that exists in the way that Order can play with a lead is devastating for Peace. This Sejuani still at risk of dying to a very low damage duo of an Ornn and a Twisted Fate speaks volumes to the state of this game. And if you thought you had it covered, you thought the trade was there, full credit to Peace for hitting this as fast as possible. But they have TF ult, they have double teleport as well, and they're able to get into the play in a timely manner. And the fact that they stop all of these Baron-empowered recalls is incredibly well done by Order, because it diffuses any kind of advantage that they would have had. And yes, that flash was ultimately a waste, unless he finds a miracle recall angle. Skimmy Bird didn't exist.
But it did not. He was being collapsed upon from every conceivable angle. There was nowhere to run or hide on that occasion. It just felt like to me, looking at that bot lane play where Tien is going for the 1v1, with the amount of CC that came his way, even if there isn't the damage, it's almost like Bio saying first time. It, just, you know, it reminds me of that time he was playing Malphite and he just could not move. It's going to happen again. I mean, here's the CC combo again. Like, look at that! What is the answer?
Yeah, not Zonia's maybe, on every champion. There's not a lot of good answers for them here, especially not with the lead that Order are starting to run away with. 4,000 gold doesn't feel game-winning, but there are so many other smaller points to that, like the Ornn, right? Starting to get level 14, hit those ornaments, hit the point where he is an absolute superhuman tank. Don't think we've seen that from the Sejuani anytime soon in comparison. And the pick that is available of a Twisted Fate, working with the Hecarim, working with the Ornn ultimate as well, the range of those picks is exceptionally high. So Peace, yes, we mentioned that they are potentially very good at kiting back, but you have to walk forwards eventually, Skimmy, don't you? Especially with Drakes, with Barons, with important epic objectives on the map.
Yeah, the game certainly does come at you, and it'll give you a friendly reminder that you can't just rest in that base and turtle all day, look to try and freeze waves and try and find those 4 to 5 game item moments. You got to jump in and you got to make something happen. Look at all the pressure they put on towards Biped, laying so much CC. I don't know if that's the target you want.
It's going to take an absolute eternity for him to fall on down, but they have done it. And the shutdown goal goes all the way towards Appy.
Look, it may not be the target that they want, but any target is one that they'll take right now. It's good that it goes into the hands of Appy. I'm sure Chaeyoung wants a little bit of money. It's
no. Appy's in trouble. He has no stasis. He looks to try and just flash away. No, he doesn't. He just literally walks out of that one. Bit of a swagger step for them. 2 Drakes now found. And maybe another twist in this first game.
Yeah, the old Timothy Kensington just comes in clutch. It's a great pick into the Twisted Fate, right? Always look at the TK as an option to TF. At the end of the day, it was a losing lane as a result of the draft, Skibby, so you have to take the L before you get the W. It's just an example of what is possible. And once again, this game comes down to if Peace can make the play against the flow, if they can find those picks. Appy can put in the work in team fights. Chaeyoung also on this Xayah is a fantastic team fight champion. They have tools to win 5v5. I would say they have, in general, more damage, if even.
We've seen this play happen before. Balkan versus Raze. You walk in as a Xayah, you hit the Featherstorm, and the Hecarim kind of just laughs at you. And that's what we've just seen happen one more time. This might be the final fight of this game. But Kevy's going to fall on down. That makes it a 1-for-1 so far. Beats cops a whole bunch of pain and punishment. Just gets absolutely melted. And now Appy rocks up to this fight with 2.5 items complete and says, can I do enough? Do I have enough evolutions on those items? I don't think it is to be the case. His respawn time is starting to really matter.
Recall gets cancelled there as well with the Caitlyn ultimate, so just headshots him, delays it, Sedge used, but I don't think they can stop this push at all. It feels like at least the inhibitor is going to drop here, so that is still a huge win in the end for the side of Order. The funny thing about that skirmish, Skimmy, is while there was a 700 gold odd shutdown that goes into the hands of Appy, and he is still a terror to contend with. Lisa takes over Corporal and gets 1 hit because he turns into a Karma. So, and Karma doesn't have a lot of resistances. We'll see this again. Chaeyoung passes the reaction test. Young mechanical player. Still going to fall down eventually here, you would say, just the damage of Kevy. This is where Lisa trades. Gets absolutely one tap, regrets becoming Karma. But at the end of the day, Appy gets 700 gold. And if the trade just dissipates here, you're happy. You take that as a win. But Order are able to continue to play. They've got the wave handy, they've got the map control, and they stop the recall to get the in-hit.
Slowly working their way towards that checkmate condition in this game, are Order. The map grows bigger and bigger for them to claim as their own. But it has been rather hard for them to try and get that soul point. They've certainly given Peace the opportunity. I guess the saving grace is there won't be the Elder that could have potentially flipped this game on its head in a game 1 scenario. Once again, Kisei posturing, looking for that gold card stun target.
Yeah.
Rapid fire cannon, obviously so insane for making it so easy.
Posturing mid though. They have the mid inhibitor already gone. They have no control of top or bot waves. They really need to establish some control there first, so it feels like they go mid to stop Peace from making any plays. Kind of just nullify the threat, and then they go to address their side lanes. But the second Peace see Twisted Fate bottom, look at how aggressively they start to move in. And as the map starts to ebb and flow, the question is, how do Peace and Order play from here? Is it a Baron Force? I think the logical choice for Peace is hit the Baron, force the teleports. If they don't, they run the risk of just losing turrets to the Twisted Fate.
I think Peace are all in on this Baron idea. I mean, just take a quick stock check off the map vision as well. Every ward wave is in this vicinity. They aren't interested in anywhere else. They're going to utilize their turrets and their minions at vision elsewhere on the map. We know that Kisei's being split pushing. He's going to look to run up. In comes the gold card, looking for that target. Going to find it on towards Beats. There's the Everfrost. Overlap it again. Kevy jumps on through, but not going to find what he's after. A one-man knock-up on towards Appy, who's copped a fair bit of damage and down to 50% himself. But that's enough of a deterrent to stop the Baron. The question is, do Order continue? And will Peace be allowed to run away?
There's a ward in that bush that needs to be cleared, so Peace had a bit more of an advantage on the disengage here. But Order don't use their teleports to get to this play. They just use the Twisted Fate ultimate. They don't trade the turret bottom lane, but the waves are set up better, and Lisa and Kisei are just staring at each other.
Baron's getting dangerously low. There is traps. And there's an invitation to walk in for this one. Kisei going to buy time with the stasis. Can Lisa get into the pit to try and steal this one away? Can't be the case. 4v5 now, as Corporal's also being left to the walls. Locked in place by a Glacial Prison. Knocked that one up with the Abyssal Dive after. And now there's only 3 Baron buffs remaining. A net positive, but still,
a dicey proposition.
Yeah, the Caitlyn doesn't die, the Ornn also doesn't fall. So they have got Baron in both their primary lane and their side lane that they would be pushing in. So you do still take that if you're Order. You will be sacrificing potentially a Cloud Drake as a result. Just because they will not have their mid lane or support to get to this fight, and they don't want a 3v5. There is still really nice vision that Lisa has to clear out here. Or the teleport flank angles do exist. However, going invisible there was spotted on the control ward, and he knows it's there. So he'll be able to play vigilantly as Appy. Bio wants to have a crack. He is human nearby.
Appy's like, get away from me. Yeah, I've got a Void Staff. Yeah, I've got a Shadow Flame. But look at your itemization. You're level 16 as an Ornn. I mean, he's literally a raid boss. There's no way you can 1v1 this man.
Yeah, there's too many bars on that health bar there from Biopanther. That is a raid boss. And Puma also hovering nearby. I think it's clear, right, that with Peace going for the Drake, the intent from Order was to see if they could do something elsewhere. If it doesn't happen, we'll still get some extra turrets. Really difficult at this point in the game for Peace to bring it back. Barring a mistake from Order.
Here we go. Kissing wants to get out of harm as he's going to try and go for the Destiny, and he just manages to make it happen. Had to flash away because that was Sejuani looking to try and make his life a bit of a living misery. Appy's caught in trouble. Devour goes out. Order split pushing as they draw members of Peace down to defend the bottom half of the map. They walk in. They take another opportunity to say, when is the second inhib gone?
Yeah, I mean, that is a fantastic play from Order, and that is exactly what you expect to see from them. From here on out, now the Twisted Fate can probably even go top, right? Go top/mid, control both side lanes, and then just put the rest of the team towards the bot lane inhibitor. And just tutorial style, try and pressure Peace out of this game as a whole. So far, so good. That attempt at split pushing, you could see what Peace want to do, and that is something that will continue through the rest of this one as well. The second Order show on the map in more than one lane, you want to find a pick. You want to throw the Sejuani ultimate at someone. You want to have the Victor there to deal damage.
I just can't help but feel, and I'm not sure if this is my caster copian starting to come into effect here, but the game hasn't been closed out just yet. These are giving more opportunities to try and find those late game answers. Yeah. Yes, the map has been collapsed around them.
But it hasn't been perfect from Order, Skimmy, so I don't think it is copium or anything crazy. Like the door has been left ajar multiple times, and Peace have been able to continue to poke and prod at that.
Baron buff. Only now about to expire. As Order look to try and put that final nail in the coffin and find, as you would say, the tutorial-style League of Legends effect of getting that third and final inhib inside the base of Peace to really make sure they have nowhere left to go. 2.5 minutes before that soul point comes up for another discussion, but this time it will be available for both teams.
The difficulty at this point for Order is, ooh, Tierno.
Kisei, that's the beauty of Spellbook, instantly cleansed out of that one. Damage going on towards Chen, who's just going to cop the Devour, hangs onto his Featherstorm as well as his Flash. Corporal is just literally getting burnt in the oven. And just run away in the end though.
I mean, he'll survive, but it is another Flash used. Order is struggling. At this point, again, like, I want to express the difficulties that Order is starting to run into because there is a mid lane inhibitor that is alive. They didn't have the supers crashing top yet. And so only now will someone from the side of Peace have to go and deal with that one. And Order, I think, feeling a little bit impatient, knowing that that was, you know, a minute away. Try and pressure and just step too close to the Sejuani, and Tan with no hesitation throws the ultimate. Twisted Fate can't split push when it is inhibitors, because the Victor can stand between mid and bottom and wins the 1v1 against Kisei every day of the week. So they try and respect, but at the same time, they still step up, and they step up just a little bit too far and get punished.
They do, but this is one way to look to try and close out the game. Appy is absolutely monstrous. If you can get to that death cap, then this game might be done. He goes for the stopwatch, he looks to try and flash away, consumed by the Devour as well. Out goes the ace in the hole, but it gets soaked here by Tien, who literally wants to try and mitigate their losses as Order try and force their end condition with a numbers advantage. Still, Peace deter them.
The Tahm Kench pick has been so clutch for keeping Peace in this game, but at the same time, Appy's been an absolute hero. Just soldier for them, putting out damage, keeping Order at bay. And any advance that they try and make, the attempt has been thwarted and handled nicely. This game is struggling to be closed out. from the Order side that is ahead.
So dicey. We're reaching that 40-minute mark where we're going to start to have full items completed. There's already one. Puma. He's got 5 items to his name. And I'll tell you what, there's never a better situation where the Caitlyn has run the show from minute 1 in this game to say, let's close things out here, because you're giving them this very sketchy position of, well, Appy could just flash from ahead and one-tap me.
You know, one of the other advantages that a Twisted Fate can provide in a comp skimmy is if you have a carry top laner, you can play a 2-3 format, right, and have pressure towards that top laner. But Ornn versus Sejuani at this point, just a bunch of wet noodles hitting each other. They deal damage to carries, but not to each other.
Oh, Tien is so lucky. That is unbelievable. He's going to go for the flash. He's just going to sidestep out that Everfrost. Glacial Fissure. Rather, the Glacial Prison to try and disengage away from this one. Soul Point's being claimed. Back-to-back Ocean Dragons, or rather, Cloud Drakes at that. So they've got a low mobility, but can they run away from this one? Look at Kisei's positioning. Going to look to try and prevent Lisa doing whatever he can in this situation. Beats, runs in, going to fall on down. Double kill here found by Puma. He's a little bit of a terror. Who would have known? 5 items complete on the AD carry, and you become a bit of a beast in this game. There is the triple. There is the ace. The white flag this time, surely. That is Order's game to take.
And it is just going to be game number 1 going the way of Order for sure after that team fight. Teleport's going to be able to come in towards top lane. Supers are crashing here as well. Inhib is about to spawn, so it will be delayed by a few seconds, but the death timers are so long, I don't think it will matter too much in the end. And to think it came down to such a messy team fight after such a long holdout.
Well, we're back to the playoffs, and we're back to games that go all the distance, up to 40 minutes once again. A game really of 2 halves there, where Peace certainly had an invitation back in on multiple occasions, but Order so very grateful that one team fight eventually was enough, with the respawn timers being just a fraction too long, that they can dismiss the skeletons in the closet that was the regular season, that the Frio back then does not matter. They get their first win against Peace in Split 1.
Yeah, and a really important game 1 as well for Order. They build some momentum for themselves. They show their hand a little bit through the draft also. And, you know, the fact that the Zillion gets banned but the Twisted Fate gets locked in, and you would say was successful through mid-game for them, is crucial. The Sejuani being picked, but the Ornn feeling like a better version of it is also crucial as we go into the second game in this series. And a really comfortable, I want to say, win from Order. Was by no means perfect. There was mistakes here and there from both teams, but Order come in and put their best foot forward, and it's now on Peace to show up.
It certainly is, and if they're going to open up the draft in one that I missed, but one that I certainly enjoyed here, Mac, then we are in for a bit of a treat where these drafts could certainly reveal a lot more unique pocket picks.
Yeah, the draft was really fun. I'm glad I got to do that one. Also, shout-outs both to Order and Peace for putting absolutely no action until Skimmy got back. They went for the invade, of course, but they didn't actually fight. It was just everyone standing off, waiting until that 8-minute mark before first blood was drawn. But by that stage, Skimmy, I heard you'd already come back, and I didn't get the chance to say goodbye, but that's okay, because we're here, we're back now, and the game spoke for itself. Look at this move from Order. They allowed the Baron to go down. They managed to stop every single one of these buffs from escaping, saving the day, and saving a headache later on. And I feel like this is the first time, I'm going to say, I've ever seen a team drag a game out long enough that even though Order were on Soul Point from the first 3 Drakes, Peace got the Soul from 4 back-to-back Cloud Drakes. So that was an interesting one. I was just waiting for that moment, that one team fight where Peace just got back into the game, Kitty, but it just never seemed to come.
Hello, Mac, and we were all quite puzzled from that game. I'm sure everyone was a bit confused by the Peace draft, especially from the first pick, Xayah. Although they banned out MF for the second ban phase, it was still extremely outranged by the Caitlyn Karma. So we saw that Cheon was consistently down 100 CS throughout the entire game. So drafting Tien to Sejuani, it is automatic for Cheon to be the strong side, but he is in a losing matchup for a strong side lane. And we see the Tahm Kench being a response to Karma. Although bad in lane, we did see it perform during these team fights for the TF and Hecarim ults, and even sometimes the Ornn ults. But we need to give respect to Biopanther, criminally underrated top laner. I'm sure everyone agrees with me, as he was able to knock up the Xayah twice, while her ulti and the Tahm Kench ulti was available for 2 of those really important objective fights.
Well, on the counter to that, the amount of times I saw Zaya getting just taken out of harm's way, like ace in the hole, Honor, definitely a kill. Tam comes to save the day. She has to pop her own ult. Like, the amount of like mitigation that was there for Peace just to keep their ADC alive was great. The issue was they had to use those ults defensively so much, they never actually got to use them offensively. And then it was like a 24-minute, 26-minute or something Flame Horizon as well for the ADCs. So that was a very big gap in the bot lane. But Puma, you need to point out that man. He played out of his mind, Rusty.
Yeah, Puma played incredibly well, right? He was supported by his team, and that's really the difference between both ADs in this game, right? Yes, you have tools to save your AD in the Zaya, but you're saving someone who's 100 CS behind, while Order are just supporting from level 1, protecting and enabling Puma to walk forwards. And that really was what a lot of this game came down to. And I don't think the Sejuani pick does it for me. If they're going to play Zaya Tahm Kench, I think they need a carry top to play for.
I just know that the game was good enough to get the popcorn out. I was here munching on it. I've almost finished the whole bag already. And a great place to have popcorn is at the cinemas. And thanks to Circles.life, you guys can win a ticket to go to one of 5 exclusive screenings to the new Doctor Strange movie around Australia. So make sure you drop that exclamation Strange in the chat. Win yourself some tickets to go and see that when it comes out. But if you don't want to see that, send them my way. I'm going to keep asking because I am so damn keen for that movie. I'm all caught up on the Marvel Universe. I'm ready for the next stuff. But I guess you guys are probably ready for Game 2 as well. So there is going to be another break before we jump on in. We're going to let Rusty clear his throat, and we'll be back. Hopefully no emergencies going into Game 2.
Dash! Why did he dash next to a wall? Now, the classic line, Rusty, was he just buying space because the Baron's been started by the other 4?
He has created a lot of space. Baron already at 2k HP, Skimmy, but the teleports are coming in. It's a fight.
Oh! Bio's going to get another nasty charge, but Peace, they just want to disengage. They do not want to entertain this fight. Order, they certainly do. They've removed one Baron buff. They're going to try and find a second. Lisa in trouble running away. It reminds me of that time he was playing Malphite and he just could not move. It's going to happen again. I mean, here's the CC combo again. Like, look at that! What is the answer?
Hey, look, Menulog.
Final day of the split for group stage on a low note, Skimmy. You can't be sad, so give me your best sheesh. Come on, fire up the crowd before we jump on into something fun.
Oh, God.
Sheesh!
deleted, destroyed, and Dunskies. Direwolves, pack your bags, you're out of the LCO, and Order are going to carry on into that next game next week.
So like the start of the season, I think like everyone was feeling like really good. Like we did so well. Like we were crushing pretty much every single scrim. Even like the first few games, we played quite well. The Chiefs game was pretty close, I would say. Top 2, you know, like contesting the first spot, and then like we kind of fell in a bit of a dip.
We just need to come up with draft plans that facilitate our players well. Either me, Kisei, or Kevi has to kind of play a dog role just so the other two can carry. I think every AD carry in the region would like to have Biopanther on their team. He's willing to just play the weak side and let others carry. He's probably the funniest teammate I've ever had.
I'd say our bot lane is just like really consistent. I think Puma is probably the best AD, if not like top 2 AD. Corporal's also like really good. He has like a really good attitude. He helps the team a lot in terms of learning.
Kevi's in-game skills are really insane. I think he's probably the best mechanical jungler. He can 1v9 any game as long as the draft allows him to. We're all kind of immature and like to have a laugh, and we say some stupid things.
We haven't lived up to like expectations, like to be honest. I still feel confident like we can do well in the actual playoffs. A lot of the top teams, you know, they have gaming houses, they've all like met each other and stuff. Online, I think it's a lot harder to like grow and like talk about problems and like improve and stuff like that.
I think every player dreams of playing on the international stage. We do have a chance, and I think it'd be good if we were able to go. We're coming into playoffs as the 4th seed. We do have an extra life, but I don't think that's going to stop us. So don't be surprised when we win this whole thing.
Puma looking ready as ever to run that gauntlet, and a good couple of words coming through there in that Order team video. Now, before we jump on into Game 2, we got some things to have a chat about, not only side selection or their fan vote, you know, the list goes bloody on. But Kitty, tell me, now that you've had a chance to calm down after that first game, are your predictions in the bin now?
They're absolutely in the bin, and
Okay.
I'm coming in with just no expectations anymore, because if they first pick Xayah again, I'm probably gonna mold all my hair off.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Do we want to talk about that, or do we want to just see if it happens again, Skimmy?
Why not? I mean, we saw stranger things happen from some of these drafts at a piece in playoffs already. I would just like to, I like the Sejuani. I could see what it was trying to do, right, between the passive of that and a Viego to try and skirmish nice and early on, but I just don't think we ever really got to see it. I would like to see, like Rusty mentioned, this either a 5th pick angle for Tien to pop off with some like hard carry, or give him a little bit more agency with like a traditional champ, because I feel like when he's trying to match Bio pound for pound as 2 tanks, I feel like Bio, that's like his comfort zone.
Yeah, some great words coming through from that video about Bio from his teammates. Everyone seemingly happy to play with the man who is just so damn selfless. Now, side selection, how do we see this one changing? Because Peace, they cop the L, so they get to choose again. Are we going to see them go back to blue, or do you think they're going to give it a chance on red here, Rusty?
I mean, they chose blue for a reason, but I can't see the reason in their first game draft. And frankly speaking, I would rather see more agency given to Tien. And the way that they drafted on blue side feels like they could have done that on red side and been happy. Like, I don't know if there's enough of a priority on the Xayah to take that away and give away Hecarim for free to justify wanting to be on blue side. It baffles me. I'm a little bit confused. And I just want the team to rally around Appy some more. Mac, give him something, because he's popped off 4 losses in a row and he needs the team.
Well, Rusty, let's see if you're going to be baffled or satisfied, because side select is in and Peace have gone back to blue. How baffled are you?
No, I'm not baffled. I'm upset.
I just see both of their reactions. Like Rusty's just cracking up. Like Kitty's just tilted off the screen. It's yeah, okay. I guess red side are allergic to it.
That's it, right? Now look,
stinky.
PGG and Chiefs, they managed to break that 3-0 curse, but down in the lower bracket, is that curse going to continue on? Because we thought it was broken, Kitty.
It is going to continue, and like we all said, we all want Tien to get the counter pick for top, because I believe that Cheon hasn't been performing up to standards recently, and we want Tien on his Camille, we want his mid roams for RP, and that might be the case where they actually grab a win.
That certainly might be. Now, you guys get your Twitch predictions in because it's time for the Dare fan vote. It was...
I have a thought, that's all. Please continue.
It was very close last time. You guys did pick order, so I think so far I'm good for my predictions. So thank you very much for that one. But get them in again because, of course, you can win some Twitch points. There was 1.1 million Twitch points put on the line after that last game, or for that last game. Let's see if we can back it up again because I think a lot of people have, at least 50% of the people have lost all their damn points. So we'll see if that trend continues. Now, mind explosions, whatever the hell was going on. Elaborate for me, Rusty.
Oh, I was just thinking through blue side possibilities. So, like, if Order have shown that they want to pick Caitlyn, then you could consider an Ashe lane, because I actually think that Ashe is one of the best counters to Caitlyn in AD 1v1.
Yeah.
And then you could look for an enabling support, but the reality is you'd have to pick a Volibear or Hecarim first. So I think that's the condition that we haven't seen met by Peace yet. But that's just in my head. I was like, there are options for Chaeyoung to be a carry instead of Tian if they're going to go blue side.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been hard at work remembering things about League of Legends, remembering things about your favorite moments of League of Legends. So fortunately, from the fans, it's back. Let's have a look at what you guys have cooked up in the kitchen. Kitty, do you know this one? Captain Flowers, absolute rap god of commentary for one of the most intense base races in League of Legends history, IG versus KT 2018. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I believe he was doing this a lot, like he was going to smack someone on the casters. So I believe, I think I remember he was yelling while the two Nexus towers were getting hit. And yeah, he nearly attacked someone near him. It was really dangerous.
Who was it, Rusty?
I think it might have been Kobe in that one, but I can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that when Captain Flowers cast, his arms were swinging. You need to give him 1.5 meters of space, and you have to look at the screen with a mic, like a binoculars from further away, or you're in trouble. Yeah,
Like that?
It's, yeah, a bit more like, you know, not stuck with a camera that cuts off here.
Yeah,
yeah.
Doing a bit better, hey? Oh.
Limited range.
I've only got so much range here, boys.
Yeah, drag him the desk after this one, eh? Far out.
All right, so we got another one. Let's have a look. Thank you for that one, Ekis. Let's see who else this is. Fernando. When Quickshot said champions can fall, gods can bleed, where were you when the West rose up to conquer champions? Any takers? It says on the screen where it came from.
I've heard this in a montage before, but I feel like those are the kind of things that sometimes you can have those epiphany moments, right? Where just the words fall into place in the moment. But a lot of the times, I feel like you pre-prepare a lot of these like statements as to like what you'd want to say in those like win moments. So if it was to be like SKT taking a win, what would you be saying to try and like, you know, celebrate them? If it's a monumental upset like it was there for G2, you just hope that in the moment that your delivery doesn't get stuffed up. Because if it doesn't, it's prime.
Telling me that this was scripted?
Scripted, lol? Yes.
Oh my god.
It's happened. Sorry. I've just broken the veil.
Well, just wait until you read or see how the rest of the script unfolds today here on the LCO. We have one more from the fans. Let's see what moment it is this time. It is Lolo EW. Oh, this was going to be my submission, but I saw that it had been submitted by Lolo. Thank you for doing that. It's a double, Michael double, Michael triple. There you go. Jubesy loses.
Jubes would be proud of that one, surely.
That was
iconic.
Beautiful. I miss Jubes. I do miss Jubes. I actually typed his name in a few times earlier and it auto-corrected to Hives. Don't know why.
I think of some other catchphrases. He said
Slam
it was like
Jam.
Wah Wah Wee Wah, Slam Jam, Welcome,
Space Jam.
Space Jam. Yep.
I'm a big fan of Space Jam 2, which came out in cinemas last year. That got mentioned many times.
Yeah. Yeah. He must have been on a good package with Warner, say. Like, he was certainly getting that cash in hand.
Okay, we got one more as well to have a quick look at. Let's see what it is from you guys at home. Oh, it's Rusty.
That's me.
All right, do you want to give us your best impression? Because you can.
No, man, I'm not going to yell right now. It's not good for my throat. But
what if you just...
He won't be able to cast anymore.
Like, silent yell, like, Tiger,
I mean, this was the most iconic line that I think from LCK potentially commentary in general. It was when Faker first went absolutely insane. It was a Z1v1, and it was, you know, Faker, look at the moves. Faker, what was that? And they're just losing their minds with, to this day, a play that if you watch it, you probably still can't comprehend how good it was.
Was that like one of those like one-on-one Kassadin things back on the old graphics?
It was Z
Versus
Game 5?
They're just like
because they were
blind
blind
picks.
picks, so they both picked Zed, and they had a
So mirror
1v1
matches.
mid as a
That's
mirror
rowdy.
matchup. It was insane.
Wait, so back in the day, you could pick the same champ on both sides?
Yeah, game 5 or 3 was a blind pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like the decider, it was like you could play whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. How times have changed. That's a real interesting one. Now, look, game's not too far away. Are we going to see Twitch slide into the draft? Because it certainly worked for PGG. Let's have this conversation.
Oh no. I'm not sure. I feel like Puma. I don't know if Puma would want to be as crazy to go down that angle of a Twitch. He's certainly got like a unique champion for it, right? He's got like a lot of those mages tucked away for a rainy day if he needs it. He's certainly got the likes of, the Draven like we've seen already tucked away. He's got the Sivir there too. You want a bit of Sivir? Question is, would the bans be that targeted that he would feel compelled to? Because you're falling down a bit of a pecking order, and there's a lot of champions that's still there that you would take instead.
He's got that Ashe as well. And look, I think Puma, Cheon, neither of them are rats, but let's see if they put that cosplay on because Champ Select is ready for Game 2. Let's get into the fun.
What a segue. Mac never disappoints with how he lets us go into Champion Select. Yes, that's right. Game number 2 is here. This time I'm here, and we get to see really in full quality what Peace do again on blue side.
I did enjoy the analysis I got from the chair, but it's good to have you back, Skimmy, for an actual draft. Let's kick this one off because we're already 3 bans in. 2 target bans again from Peace, 1 adaptation in the Karma. And it is the Lee Sin that is going to be up and picked this time around. Now, Lee Sin coming into this series, we said is a very high priority jungler. Was 100% pick ban. We've seen some absolutely insane performances and feels like one of the best in-slot junglers right now. In saying that, by picking the Lee Sin, it does leave the floor open to a strong bottom lane and jungle response on Order's side. Which I don't think they'll be too upset about that one. It is now on Peace to show what goes with this Lee Sin. Is it the LeBlanc, right? Lee Sin, LeBlanc's one of the most seen duos so far.
Yeah. Last time they did this in their Game 3 against Pentanet so far in these playoffs, they locked in Lee Sin first pick. The second rotation was Nautilus and LeBlanc. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see that from Peace. But also, we're looking at this Leona pick, and it's just the go-to red side opening pick, right? It's always been a response.
Okay, yes. Okay, so this is significantly better by Peace. This is what we wanted to see from them from the get-go. If you're going to go blue side, realistically, you want a 2-3 AD support rotation of something that is strong. And to force Order to pick their AD right now or risk being banned into a really bad matchup. So you see the Leona, you're now forced into an aggressive 2v2. The question is where the response will go. This is an avenue where you can try and outrange them for sure.
Okay.
There is a risk involved in this pick.
There is, but Varus and Leona do a lot of damage together as well, right? The stacking up with the Blight, the unleashing of the Sunlight passive as well. You're very keen to try and take those trades, certainly if Lisa, rather Chen and Beats look to try and, land that first punch in this matchup. So I'm really excited already for what the Spotlight has to offer.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the only downside to going for the Caitlyn Lux is you're going to see the LeBlanc band here. One amazing thing for Order's side is by going Leona Varus, the Graves has a lot more potential to be a carry, right? Where the Varus can be more of the longer range utility AD. Sit back with, I believe currently the only build is lethality. I haven't seen many other Varus variants. There's an AP Varus build running around Skimmy.
That's a lot of fun.
Which I believe even got buffed recently for better or worse. But I don't think we'll see a Luden's Echo Varus in this game. I mean,
that might be the counter to Biopanther, right? He just gets like a late game Ornn, you just charge up the arrow and you just one-tap him.
Percentage health damage, why not?
Broken.
However, Ornn's not going to be seen, nor is the Syndra or LeBlanc. So 2 really aggressive mid lane champions going to be banned away here. This is something that, from here, it could even be a Victor or like a scaling mid lane angle for Kisei if they wanted. In fact, the Twisted Fate ban to me is very odd unless Biopanther was looking to play an AP top laner as well, and I don't think he's much of a Rumble player. Could be a Kennen, but I'm expecting Kisei to pick a control mage if viable, and then it's more like the Gnar type top laner.
Question is, what would he go for?
Power.
Okay. Well, the gauntlet's been laid down straight away. I was thinking, would he just default to a champion like Vex? Would he go for something assassin heavy? And well, I guess he just says, Akali, blind, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that's a confidence pick for sure. I don't mind that at all. I'm very curious to see what the response will be from Appy. Akali is a champion that he is most definitely familiar with. And if it is something like even a Silas, right? Something that can still be utility. There's a couple of good ultimates to steal away as well. Or is that even a Renekton mid?
It could be.
It is
It could
Aki.
be. Yeah, the cannon's going to be locked in potentially as well. Well, they need some AP at least. Okay, we've got a lot of bruiser potential. Very up in your face. Connection Gwen.
And so you're expecting that this is going to be the Renekton into the Akali regardless of the lanes that they choose to go towards. Order now picking for the Renekton, rather for the Gwen matchup. Obviously the best course of action into a Gwen is to try and get within her range of immunity.
I would like this. A signature pick from Biopanther. Urgot is going to do so much work. I mean, just imagine his ultimate in all close proximity. The entire team gets feared.
I mean, there is a lot of close-range champions there when it comes to team fights. Renekton, Gwen, Lee Sin, all at risk of being feared. There is an Akali, an assassin that gets to work with a long-range Varus and the Graves ultimate as well. If they can kill a single target, I think Order are really happy to carry the fight through on the back of the Urgot ultimate. But it is realistically, it is going to be a singular frontline in Corporal with some off-tanks across the board. And they are mostly low-range champions themselves, except for the Varus, into a comp that is extremely happy with that in some respects, right? Caitlyn Lux able to hit a lot of free traps and bindings because they're going to be within range at all times. Lee Sin very happy dealing damage, so is Appy. Tan perhaps the only one that's a little bit sad that he's not going to be able to utilize the W to the maximum.
Certainly going to be a lot of friends inside that inner circle where we can say Gwen is immune, but the meme this time won't be as easy to fully unleash onto this game. It just really feels like we've like to say game number 2, it's a pivot really from what we saw in game 1. Sometimes teams are quite keen to stick with the same bands, same draft, and the same outcome, but ultimately here we're already straight away saying no, that did not work. We need to completely reinvigorate what works for us in this series, because going into a potential 0-2 would not be the best place to find yourself. No doubt about it. Order coming into this one with once again a lot of those signature champions and a chance to show up. I mean, we've not seen this Varus from Puma in a hot minute, but it's a champion that we certainly know he is capable on. Game 2 is here. Order leads. It was a convincing performance despite a few hurdles along the way to get there, but we certainly are looking to continue the momentum in their favour. Let's see how this one plays out as we're on to the Rift. And as we do, once again, it's another chance and another bit of a treat to talk with some of the coaching staff. I do believe we have Ceres on the line this time from the side of Order. And, I mean, Ceres, how have you found the series so far?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised. I think their preparation at the start, at least for game 1, was quite poor. Obviously, like, first pick Xayah is just not tenable, and they got punished rightfully for it. Going into game 2, it looks like they did a better job. They have a few curveballs that we didn't see coming, like this Renekton mid. But yeah, aside from that, I'm pretty happy with how things are going.
No doubt about it. I mean, the last conversation I believe we had was talking about, yourself going into peace and how there's a big focus on preparation to try and, deal with them. It looks to me as if, it's obviously paid off dividends so far in this series. But talk to me a bit more on a broader scheme. How difficult is it to prepare, knowing you could have a game today as well as a game tomorrow?
Oh, well, we definitely have a game tomorrow, but I wouldn't say that it's particularly difficult. Like, Peace and PGG don't necessarily have that different styles, honestly. Like, they both want to play very heavily around their mid-jungle. Their mid-jungle obviously facilitates the rest of their map, like their top lane. Winter and Tien, they can both play a lot of carry champions, although Tien now has been, as you saw, he just played Sejuani, so he's being a lot more flexible. But for the most part, I think stylistically, they're actually quite similar in many ways. So I think that we're kind of lucky in that sense that we don't have to stretch too far to prepare for both.
No, you just got to, unleash that confidence, as we heard from you already, saying that you're going to be going into that game tomorrow. Well, I wish you boys the best of luck, and I hope that comes true. And, yeah, we'll catch up next time.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
You'll love to hear the confidence, Skimmy, at the very least. Oh, we will have a game tomorrow.
Doesn't mess around, does he?
No, he does not mess around. Except in solo queue, I've seen him mess around.
Put him on blast there real quick.
Buddy, onto him.
Bring him down.
He's a little bit ego getting out of check there. Bring up solo. No. Let's get into this game real quick. Level 1, when you're looking at bottom lane, and all eyes will be coming towards this bottom lane without a shadow of a doubt, right? It is a Caitlyn Lux into a Leona Varus. If you're Corporal and Puma on the Leona Varus side of this matchup, you have to be aggressive. Your options are engage, win a trade, or suffer slowly. And if you sit there and suffer slowly and Lux gets bindings, all it really takes is a single Q to connect. You get CC comboed, damage comboed with that. And then you're just losing lane. So while we were in that interview, the hyper aggression from Corporal and Puma, Ignite used level 1, flash taken from Lux, that basically secures bush control for the Leona if they want, and kind of cements them in a more comfortable position in what could be a desperately bad lane.
Right, you are, because both these supports have damage amplification built into their passive, right? They want uptime, they want damage patterns to work in their favor. The fact that, you know, Leone can just assert dominance in that bush nice and early certainly means that Beats has to be a lot more respect. I mean, look how defensively he's postured in this lane as a result of this one, really putting a lot of the emphasis now to Chan to find those trades.
And Lisa's going to come in here, but Kevy also hovering nearby. It's going to be a 3v3. Beats no flash means that he is the most likely target. But if they don't know that Lisa is there, he could get the jump.
There it is. That's what you wanted to see. The Glacial Fisher goes on through, or the Glacial Augment rather. It is a first blood. They're going to turn it around and punish the flashless support as they make it a 1-for-1, but it is to be ordered to get first blood gold.
There's also both junglers that end up picking up the kill. So again, Order, I do think, feel like they've come out ahead in this. They have control of the wave. They make the play first, and it is just well weathered and responded to by Peace to make that a 1-for-1. Both teams will be happy with the outcome overall. Just slight lead, a little bit more that goes the way of Order from that one.
I think we all knew what was to be expected when you saw that Corporal had the flash, that the gank was on. Anybody steps up there, and they were to fall on down. Yeah, the fact that both the junglers find themselves to that gold, they're going to be quite content with that one. Can certainly look to try and dictate the pacing of this game and try and find success and influence elsewhere on the map. And just look how close that prediction is. Certainly people are split down the middle in this game.
Now, Mac being stuck on the fan votes is going to be on a very confusing ride if the predictions are all going to be this close every single time.
Happy though. He's been quietly achieving, hasn't he? Every single time Kisei steps up, looking to try and make sure that your life won't be free, at least before level 6 anyway, when you have that kill pressure.
The thing about this matchup in mid, Renekton is such a sore spot in competitive League of Legends, isn't it? I feel like even saying his name is akin to Voldemort at this point. I feel like Renekton was picked into Akali specifically for the lane control. It is permanent priority, you would say, right? Renekton just presses Q on wave, constantly is aggressive, trades health, and Kisei has no freedom. Now, that doesn't mean that Renekton becomes a fantastic champion as a result of that. All that means is that Lisa has more freedom. And you even saw him, right, go straight towards the Raptor camp, see if he can get something done for himself. And this opens up the map a lot for Peace as a whole. But it is still a Renekton. And a couple of things that Renekton can do is take away shields with the W. There's no real shielding champions. Doesn't scale well that much into the game. And I don't think there's a lot of champions that he's going to be able to consistently get the jump on. And it's not a combo, right? The one time that I accept Renekton is if I see a Nidalee or an Elise. And I'm like, well, that's nasty. But it's Elise in.
Uh-oh, this is nasty as well. Deja Vu bot lane. This time it's a Hex Flash. And this time, it's the same outcome. Beats falls again. And his flash is only just about to come off. So that's a great little window and a great bit of timing.
And again, we talk about slight leads for Order in the 2v2. You can see how that gets exacerbated, how that can get stretched even further in their favor. They have managed to retain wave control for majority of this lane, and Beats is about 10 seconds away, maybe 20 seconds away from his flash at the point that he dies. He's only going to have it up now as he walks out of lane. Extremely well done by Order. The Caitlyn Lux has been completely stopped in its laning phase. Can still be a really strong siege duo skimmy, but so far so good from Order's side.
Certainly is, because individually, you know, the Caitlyn is going to pack a bit of a punch, but certainly once we start grouping up, the Varus-Leona combo is going to offer a lot more for teamfight control with the amount of CC they have between them, the damage there for the lethality spike, which will come in a lot quicker than the critical chance that the Caitlyn will be hoping to find. And I guess, you know, just quickly touching on this mid lane point, right, you're really hoping that this Renekton can achieve a sizable laning advantage. Otherwise, you're just concerned about how much of an impact going into those team fights this Akali can be.
I mean, the funny thing about this is I don't know if Renekton's meant to build a sizable lane advantage. I think he's meant to accrue an incremental lead, but then Beats and Lisa are meant to be the ones that gain advantages. So the bot 2v2 struggling a little bit is indicative of perhaps Peace being slower than they would like. There is still going to be a point in this game, however, where a Caitlyn and a Lux get to post up mid lane outer turret. and make plays. BioPanther is about to get 3 men, but could one-hit Beats here just quietly.
Oh, Binding comes across. There is a little bit of damage to try and follow things up with... Oh, the flash kick! As Bios hold his nerve, he's going to flash at the very last minute, but in comes Zappy and says, I'll take that kill. Lisa steals it away, so get absolutely baited, but that's a good opportunity for him to try and answer back topside whilst Order make a play for the Drake.
Fantastic binding from Beats. It's good to see him active on the map, and the priority we spoke about in mid lane obviously bears fruit now for the side of Peace. So their first really proactive and positive move on the map gets witnessed. However, it's traded for Drake, it is traded for potentially the entire red side jungle, and Chaeyon sitting mid is not safe. You can see places a ward, but doesn't even know there's a Graves that could be right there to pressure him. So they'll take the kill, they'll look for the Rift Herald, and the potential to get some extra gold on the map is there. But so far, I think Order are fairly comfortable with that trade. It's just good to see Peace making moves.
Certainly is. And the fact that Lisa has already got those 2 kills on Lisa nice and early on does bode well for them if they want to try and entertain the idea of skirmishing so heavily as they did in Game 1. Can be in the right place at the right time, looking to try and punish those flashless windows. You could certainly have a case where Drake Souls and Herald pressure is a lot harder for Order to try and achieve.
We've seen a lot of little lane flips here as well, just trying to match lanes and control one another. The Urgot gets to go mid lane right now. We spoke about the first blood for junglers. I think they're always going to be the place to look at, but we quickly take a look at Chaeyon on Caitlyn. It is one of the clutch picks that we said coming into this series, not just us, Skimmy, but Kitty as well, that we wanted to see more of. And the fact that we got to see the Caitlyn Lux from the Pieces side does give a lot of hope for the rest of this BO5 series, that we may get to see peak Peace return to Summoner's Rift, because so far they are on the back of losing 4 games in a row in the playoffs.
They'll certainly be hoping for comfort, as that last performance he had with it, 16 kills, it got a pentakill into the side of Chiefs. We know how good Chiefs are. So you're really hoping they can rekindle some of that pop-off performance once more. So let's try and make a bit of a moment inside the opposition's base. Not to be found though, because Order definitely had numbers to try and answer back. So back to side lanes we go.
Just business as usual in reality here. Taking stock of the overall differences, however, Puma starting to pull ahead of Chaeyon. Has the CS advantage, will be able to get to his mythic spike in a timely fashion. Kevy as well just completes that mythic, even though he is against a 2-0 jungler who has more money than him right now. Was at least able to get that and try and keep up to pace, is what we've been seeing from Lisa, who has had a very good game too so far. And mid's even, right? Like, the reality is the Renekton gave a lot of priority, but the farm has been the exact same. Top, the farm has been the exact same. There's been a lot of back and forth with those waves as they build and crash, but mid lane.
Always consider about this play here though, because if you put in enough of a punch, then you've certainly got an invitation to try and take him down with the Urgot ultimate. You can see it there. The Dominus had to come out respecting the damage of that collateral damage. As Kevy was certainly keen to try and find that execute in the mid lane. Now look at Lisa, he's got a Herald. Would love to try and summon that if they could find the pick. What does Kevy decide to do though? Because he is pathing top.
I think it is just going to be for place eventually when the summer comes across, unless Kisei face checks this one. Now, they don't know where the jungler of Peace is, and realistically it could be anywhere on the map, so there is a chance this works.
Oh.
Spidey senses going crazy to the side of Kisei.
That's great map sense. Spidey with a mid laner. And ultimately they will not find that pick, especially now that Kevy matches it in a straight 2v2. So the Herald will be summoned. It won't be an execute, but it'll be a cheap bit of gold injection into this Gwen. That will certainly want to try and pull ahead, not only in those battles, but certainly in the side lane control.
Oh. You can see the ward just north of Corporal. I would have actually spotted them. Control are going to come down now. There was a world where a Lux Binding hits there, and because Beats is at level 6.
Corporal. I saw the solo flip. I saw the all-in. Well, I saw at least the flash is being burnt in the spot lane again, and it's agonizing, really. The fact that you are falling behind as this Lux Caitlyn, and we know it as such an oppressive lane that just constantly is shoved into you, where your plates are falling on down, where you just have to call in the assistance of your mid lane or your jungler to help out, but Credit to Puma and Corporal, they're putting in a lot of great work.
And I mean, the reality is, we spoke about Ashe before the pick ban. Varus is another version of Ashe in how they're able to handle Caitlyn lanes. And I think right now, as you are seeing, the Caitlyn's not doing anything crazy. It is just getting pushed in. It's the Lux that is suffering. It is the Lux that is going to be consistently attempted to be gone on. It is a byproduct of going for the cleanse flash on Caitlyn. You're safe. Your support is not. And when the Lux falls behind, she tends to stay there because the build is often expensive AP mythics, not support items. And that really hurts the support player of Peace.
Certainly does. We have seen him when he's played just go for the Crown of the Shadow Queen just because he needs to be tanky enough to survive the pressure of what will be another situation where it would feel viable. The amount of pressure that Orders Comp has to try and throw towards him. He wants to make sure he can get as many of those bindings out as possible.
Exactly.
It's going to be hard though. It's going to cost a lot more gold to try and hit that point in the game.
Well, that's it, right? The item spike time can be a little bit stinky. And wanting the 1300 lost chapter. Blasting Wand is an 850. The cost completion for the entire item as well feels a little bit worse, but I think Crown is one of the better of the mythics for the item components, a bit cheaper overall, and recipe cost a bit cheaper. It's not a full Luden spec, which is actual pain. Especially when you're buying control wards constantly skimmy, it's a support's life.
Certainly is the pain of a support player. Forced to make plays on a very low budget. Appy going to walk topside, but doesn't realize I'm being collapsed upon by 3 members. Only 1 charge on that slice. There will not be any dice. Ultimately, it's Crocodile Meat on the menu. He's going to be diced up here as Bio snipes him with the chains across the Baron pit. And they tried to make a proactive play, but Order just have far too much understanding.
Order just flipped the map way better, right? They make the map flip for the Rift Herald, but they do it through top lane, and that is the place that Peace are making the play, while the Caitlyn flips to mid. Corporal now probably going to be able to body them off. No Lux laser to speak of, so it will just be the Herald, but Kisei
could be in trouble. Nope, just going to flash across that wall. Lisa looking to try and hop on through. Goes for the Dragon Rage into Sonic Wave. There's the execute damage, and there is the trade on back. Now, Order picked up the Herald. Can he run away from this one? Yep. TP comes across, and that is enough for Order to say that's worth.
Saved by the Croc. Once again, Lisa is putting in an insane amount of work for his team. Peace are going to also be pushing the mid lane outer turret. They won't be able to get the full turret from the looks of it unless...
Unreal.
Oh, that's bold.
Oh, Chains of Corruption. If that lands, I would not put it past Puma to try and take that 1v2.
That's also
Chaeon
bold.
Gonna try and square up to him. Cop another piercing arrow, and things getting a little bit explosive between these two.
Yeah, this turret is a stone's throw away. A stiff breeze will knock it down. Relic will make sure the cannon doesn't crash, but at any point, if you are Caitlyn Lux now, you just cheat beyond the wave auto attack at once, and that is the mid lane outer turret god. And finally, it feels like, Skimmy, we saw a little bit of action happening, but it was for an objective. You know, it was for a major objective on the map with the Rift Herald. It goes the way of Order. But it seems like that's what this game is starting to become. It seems like we are just going to be seeing 5v5s, handshake agreements that we're meeting at these locations. Every 5 minutes a Drake is up. Every, X amount of time a Baron is up. Almost akin to the Chiefs PGG series from last week.
Very much so. Certainly are testing one another as to, do you feel strong enough? Do you feel like your mechanics are better than ours? Any deficits in this game can be nullified by that part alone. And I mean, as much as we credit the fact of how insane our Korean Lee Sins are, here in OS, there's no surprise really that comes across that Lis is phenomenal on this champion as well, right? He's one of his go-to. I always thought when I first started casting League that, he got inspiration from that. So we say the name, and it's now the focus on top of him as he cops a fair bit of damage there from Kevy, down to 50%, but the beauty of Safeguard is that he can be just that, and more turrets will continue to fall as side lanes are well and truly into effect here.
Yeah, and Appy just will lose the turret in what seems like it is just going to be a 1v1 up. Biopanther builds a wave, has control. Tian going.
He could be in trouble here. He's going to use both charges of his W, and, well, that is the execution. Perfect as it was. They're going to summon a Herald. Yes, the plates are gone, but so is that turret in the bot lane.
Yeah, and in 2 different places at once. Order are going to make a plate. Herald summoned. They'll break the outer turret bottom. Outer turret just falls 1v1 top as well. Order just play after play. No punish, no trade to be seen. It's as simple as complimenting Lisa, watching him face check a bush, get half health. And then Order just start winning now, threatening mid outer as well. Peace just left despondent, watching it all happen.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see. A bit of a rare insight into perhaps some of the psychology of how this game is going, with Peace certainly resigning themselves to watching plays happen and not really finding the next move to try and answer back. The fact that you can put all that pressure into essentially in one fell swoop, take out 3 outers seems crazy to me.
I mean, the saddest part is that I think Order have been very astute, very observant in how they want to have their lane assignments. They've been really trying to keep the Urgot as he's looking.
Oh no, Cheyan. Oh, he's flashed away. And Bio lost vision for a second. So insanely lucky that Cheyan doesn't get punished for that play.
Does Kisa go? He has ult.
He's got Shuriken primed and ready to go. Corporal jumps in with his Zenith Blade. Blast going across into the pit. Twilight Strike goes on down, buying a little bit of time. Fruit goes across. And they look to try and top themselves up just a fraction. Chain of Corruption, final spark, one shot. Good night, sweet dreams, Beats. It doesn't get any better than that, and this is why the Crown of Shattered Queen is just so important. In we go for the fight, though, as Lisa looks to try and find his next kill in this game. He's now 4-0, but up before Bio says I can get a double kill. Kisei completely unchecked, taking 1v1s all across the map. And it's not going to be an ace, but it sure felt like it.
And I mean, Peace just take the fight. It feels like the fight was never real. They were pushed out of mid priority, so Order, worst case scenario, we're going to be able to disengage towards the mid lane outer turret, and it's going to be a trade. But the Caitlyn gets the flash forced early by a flash from Biopanther. They see the advantage. They get an engage from Leona over the wall, and Kisei chunks him out here. Like, this fight's done in reality here, isn't it? And then Varus just walks around the corner, knows there's no vision in the Drake pit, one hits Beats, and then the fight ensues from here. Biopanther, with this Urgot pick, is just so good for picking off frontline. One person gone, so hard to continue this play. Really well played by Kevy around the Drake pit, skirting the damage threats of his opponents. And Kisei, I mean, misses a couple of Qs, but he's still going to be an Akali into a flashless Caitlyn. That is very fun gameplay for the Akali.
Just doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, you know, you can talk about what this Renekton was trying to tasked to really achieve in this laning phase, but ultimately it's come to the team fight, so I feel like that's where the big focus has come from. I feel like we, you know, highlighted it nice and early with this Urgot pick coming in as a crucial aspect to say, well, look how many champions are going to really look to try and suffer from this one. He just stands, delivers, builds tanky, and means that if you push forward against us, you've got to be damn sure you're winning this.
And again, for the draft, we have seen positive adaptations from Peace. I feel like the issue is no longer in the draft itself. Mind you, I still don't see value in the Renekton pick, as yes, that ward is going to be left unattended. Corporal, this is a wide flank.
Good sidestep.
Here's now the one core.
He actually got the channel off. That's crazy to me. Binding connects though. Lisa goes in. Final spark. Solar flare. They try and mitigate their losses as another TP comes across. And Lisa still can't find a kill. We had to overcommit for it. So that means it's time for Kevy to answer back. Kevy gets a shutdown. Binding to disengage away. And they've traded a jungler for support.
They're on vision right now. Order Baron going to be aggroed, but if a binding hits Puma or...
Puma, so lucky there. Instant cleanse, not taking any chances. This piece certainly going to look to try and find a little bit more on that front, but they're losing in the side lanes. I mean, passively, these lanes are pushing against them. Peace feel threatened that they need to do something more.
That's it. I mean, again, the main point that I want to make is I don't think this Renekton has done too much. I don't think the Gwen in general has done too much. It seems like it's just been weathered. And I think this is mostly true for Tan in general through these playoffs. I don't think we've really seen the regular season Tan at all. Bot lane goes for the Caitlyn Lux, just gets matched and if not beaten by the Varus Leona with one of the strongest duos we have seen in the LCO this split. It was specifically Chayana Beats.
It was.
On Caitlyn and Lux. That's been matched. It's just Lisa that's going crazy in this game. And I'm so used to saying, it's just Appy. It feels like they've given him the Renekton and said, good luck, bud. We haven't seen two people from Peace perform at the same time.
Such a worrying fault. It really is, because ever since Peace have really made their debut in the scene, they've only ever made playoffs. That is the pedigree they hold themselves to, right? So to see them fall victim so early on into a situation where, I mean, don't discredit this game at all, but it's feeling like one of those situations where Order are finally hitting their stride, right? We've been so critical of them during the regular season where they're winning games and the next game they're flopping, and certainly in their occasions up against Peace they've been decimated, but when it really matters, certainly they are squaring up quite nicely.
Absolutely. I mean, it feels like one team's found form, one team has lost form, all at playoffs time, and I know which team I would rather be in that respect. We've been speaking theoretically, regardless of roster. Order definitely with the right foot forward. This game isn't over. Yes, I'm not going to say it is, but Peace, if they lose this one, are looking at losing 6 back-to-back playoffs games, no wins through playoffs, and just elimination to be found. It was a terrifying prospect for a team that was first place outright during the regular season.
That's all they've ever known. First and second, success across the board. A team that represented us not even 6 months ago over at Worlds, so they'll be hoping that they can find some way back into this game already, because they are chasing a gold deficit, which is down 5,000 gold, 20 seconds. Ocean Soul to be claimed by Order, and with the range and the amount of skirmishing potential that they have, if they get that, I feel like it's just one bridge too far.
They also have the outer turret in bot lane that was still providing them a beacon of pressure, right? They're going to take that one, but the pressure is on now. BioPanther looking to collapse. Appy, I mean, he's pulled a magic trick to get into the pit, but he's been found.
No. Yeah, the sweeper reveals them. He can slice across that one, no harm, no foul. Positioning certainly wasn't to be advantageous on that front. Look at Kisei, look what he can try to do as he bides his time. He's going to be spotted by Vision here as he looks to try and pounce, jumps across the wall, in they go. Just buying time for the Ocean Soul to be claimed, and it is just that. Lisa a little bit too late on that play. In jumps Kisei, goes golden for a second. Dominus is ramped up and ready to go as he charges on through to try and hit that 5-point strike, but it was never going to be an execute. More so a deterrent. This man is just chilling in this dragon bush all day long.
Not much that he can do beyond that bush, however. Order ping on the way to Baron. What do Peace do to respond? Because ultimately, if they clear this mid wave, go straight into the blue side jungle of Peace, Peace are left to face check. They don't have any vision in the river right now. It goes from bad to worse. They're trying to deal with an Ocean Soul on a team that can utilize it quite nicely. When you have a lot of bruises yourself. Wow, Kevy.
Yeah, flash away. Really Peace just hunting at scraps, and it's so wild to me to see a situation here where reactively they are always forced to try and respond to what Order are doing, you know? We're expecting you to make the play from Ocean Drake in towards that Baron, sprinting across to make sure that the jungle does still at least belong in part to us. I mean, Order going to go back to base, pick up a lot of items, look to try and bridge those item advantages even further and say, well, Baron not necessarily is the play for us. I mean, we've already got side lanes down pat. We know that you as Peace would love to try and flip the game because you're running out of options here.
While that's true, I also think that there is a bit of a clock for Order to want to be more aggressive and make more plays. Just to kind of snowball the game out of control for Peace. And that is prior to the Elder spawning. You can play the War of Attrition. You can just cycle your way through, play the motions, have the Ocean Soul, right, out sustain your side lanes. But at a certain point, if the Elder is up, I think that's when Peace start getting the spatula out, right, and start trying to flip all those burgers. Give themselves a chance to still be in the game, where right now it is that slow bleed out. So it's not a clock for Order, but it is an opportunity to be much more aggressive presently.
Well, let's see if Peace can answer back here as they go battle on battle. 1v1, in comes Tien. And out goes Tien as it completely fizzles out in a heartbeat. There, I was wondering if Order were going to set themselves up in another situation where they're just winning across the map, because they certainly are. They were before. Kisei's already pushed out bot lane. Now he's going to TP in here as the Baron dance begins.
And Peace are the ones pressured to respond here. The teleport is on a flank, but it will be spotted. Look at Lisa.
Lisa's got the high ground.
What an angle.
Certainly does have an angle. Good opportunity for him to hit that kick. Knock away the jungler. Corporal going to try and hit the Zenith blade. Not going to hit anybody. Final spark goes out. Just tickles Puma here. The Baron being held ever so close as Corporal's just going to flash across that wall. Looking to try and find where this Lee Sin is. Going to land the Zenith blade. Hit the Solar Flare now. Surely they're on. Let's get that kick. Let's get that smite. They're not going to take it. They're not going to steal it. Order have got the Baron. They've got the Ocean Soul and they've got the team fight ability. In they go again. Zonya's burnt nicely here by Kisei. Just at a range of that piercing arrow. Is Gwen immune at all? And Peace have done a phenomenal job of zoning this one away. They played from behind, they peeled it back, and Chaeyon snipes the kill onto Kevy.
I mean, it's huge from Chaeyon. That was extremely well played by him, and also, honestly, by Beats and Tian. They tried their best to kite back, and if that was a dead-even game with no Ocean Souls, perhaps there's even extra kills to be found. But at the end of the day, it is going to be the Baron in the hands of Order, and results in very few losses across the board. More objectives to come across here. And with the Baron secured, it means that Elder is outright going to be the only objective on the map, and Baron should net so much control to the roster of Order to push out their waves, threaten these turrets, and just build a lead that Peace cannot keep up with.
Just so hard to try and control all the elements that Order are throwing towards them, right? If it's not Corporal jumping in, it's the fact that Kisei's doing the exact same. Bio and Kevy always going to try and control the fight through those smoke screens, through the fear of the flip, or fear, or whatever it might be. They have a lot of front-loaded damage, a lot of burst, and Peace are constantly on the back foot, looking to try and play disengage and try and pick up the scraps. And thankfully for them, they will find that kill. The first in this game for Chaeyon, a much needed one, but has it come too late?
I mean, it may well have double black cleavers as well from the side of Peace. We didn't speak about this too much. They didn't go for the Death's Dance. They want to do as much damage as possible. It's also about augmenting the damage that Chaeyon can take out by armor shredding. Very respectful, but the cost is going to be high here. Skimmy straight on the bot lane.
It's another play though, isn't it, right? Where we're trading out turrets and trading out pressure. If you have to commit a lot of numbers to us in the mid lane, then we can make plays happen elsewhere. BioPepper has just burnt that flash, but still, it's so damn tanky. It's an Urgot, so it took 4 people just to say, we're going to have a crack at you. They're going to love life here on the bot side of Order, as they've got 3 waves just crashing into this next turret. It might just be gone. One turret's already fallen down. Chain of Corruption instantly cleansed out of. Great disengage by Chaeyon. Wow. Whoa. He nearly just got one tapped as an after effect of that one. In goes Kisei trying to snipe that kill in the fountain. What on earth was that Twilight Shroud? Beautiful flip away. But the Baron minions are still there. 2 cannons battering down that final Nexus turret, and Peace, it's do or die.
How do they stop it though? Peace have no choice. They have to engage, but they can't. Their comp has really no engage.
They just can't. They have to watch this base fall on down. And inside the fountain they go again. They just cannot match the sustain, the damage, the tempo, and ultimately the control. Order go 2-0 in this upper bracket.
And that felt like an absolute shutout. Almost from go to woe from Order. They had control. They won their 2v2. The jungler ganked just 2 seconds faster. Everything was going right from Order. Top lane weathered the 1v1. Mid lane into the Renekton. Didn't have push, but did his job, right? Lost responsibly is, I think, what I would say for Kisei. And then they hit mid-game. They hit their stride. And it feels like, from the past 2 games, Order are the better mid-game team. And that's really rough for Peace, who want to try and forge those early game advantages, snowball that through mid, and then play around a strong AD and a teleport threat from Tian. Never saw it.
Never concerned. It is certainly feeling like a bit of a 3-0. And I say an upper bracket, I mean a lower bracket. It's a bit of a slip of the tongue there, Mac. But certainly, it feels like Peace are playing with a chance to try and find redemption elsewhere. But I mean, they're now staring down the barrel of a case of next game, you're gone. You're out.
Yeah, well, it's really difficult for them, right? I liked everything I saw from Order. Every time Peace were making moves, Order were just answering with something else somewhere on the map. And no matter what Peace did, it seemed like every now and then they get that little pick-off. And they might have had a bit of an advantage at the start, but other than that, it just felt like Order as a whole unit. It may have just been the comp itself, but it just seemed like they were bringing bigger numbers to fights. They were winning the fights, and they were always in the right position. And they just had this extra level of damage, even though we saw Peace get the Caitlyn, get the Lux. The only time I saw that combo work was like one time up towards top lane when they managed to get the pick off onto Corporal, where they invested so much. But Corporal, he's a bloody Leona, so he was just able to press a couple of buttons, mitigate a bunch of damage, and then all the cooldowns were there. Lisa died for it. And of course, the fact that the drag was just taken every single time by Order. They were just always in the right positions around the objective, always just making it their damn game. And look, there wasn't a huge amount of kills, like 10-6, 10-7 at the end, and a 30-minute game. It just felt like a bit of a pushover compared to that first game that we saw coming out of Peace.
Look, Mac, I'm gonna be honest here. I think Order is just in a better form compared to Peace. We see them picking the Caitlyn luck, something that they're well known on and that has grabbed them a lot of wins throughout the regular season. However, they didn't actually get to win lane this game because of the Varus, which was a really good answer to the Caitlyn. And I believe that Beats actually got caught a couple of times where he actually got engaged on by the Leona, where I think that's just a patience problem. And from the first 3v3 in the bot lane where the two junglers met, I believe that also gave them a heads up in terms of the early game. And like Rusty said, there is no second carry on Peace. There's only one player that's standing up each game, and I don't know why Peace drafted RP onto a Renekton when he has proven that he is the best performing player on the team.
Right?
Yeah. It was...
It's hard though, right? Because like he got 4 bans towards him. So if you look at his champion pool for this split, like a lot of those champions were certainly identified by Order's coaching staff. Like if we limit what Appy can do in this series, we just win. And it feels, if you're going down the avenue of like Renekton is our next go-to, then you really are kind of opening up the door for Order to say, well, we'll just do whatever you want then.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people in Twitch chat blowing up LS wouldn't have liked that pick or something or other. Anyway, before we go to a break and before this gets irrelevant, we do have a new highest CS record from the first game. That was Puma. He got 418 in that first game. So big congrats to him. Most CS in a game so far this split in the LCO. It might even be of all time in the LCO. Now, before break as well, exclamation Discord in the chat. Make sure you're involved in all the conversation, all the community fun and shenanigans that go on over there. And of course, you know, dog pics, cat pics, just other animals that you can own at home pics. You can, if you own a monkey, please post a picture because I'm a big fan of monkeys. And look, I think that's it for this one. Now, we've got game 3 to get to. And to get there, we've got to get through another one of these breaks. So ladies and gents, don't go too far. We'll see you after this for game 3.
Themselves up, just a fraction. Kenner Corruption, final spark, one shot. Good night, sweet dreams, Beats. It doesn't get any better than that, and this is why the Crown of Shattered Queen is just so important. In we go for the fight though, as Lisa looks to try and find his next kill in this game. He's now 4-0, but up before Bias, so if I can get a double kill.
Hey, look, Menulog.
Well, a Tryndamere splitting on the side. You have a Vex with a Zeri that don't hyper scale into the late game. So it wasn't.
3 more words.
I love you.
Oh, I wasn't
Guys,
expecting that.
guys!
We can talk about this on the sidelines. Champ Select's ready. See you boys. Enjoy this game. Why would you bring that up again? We were just trying to let it just be, you know, water under a bridge. Just pretend it didn't happen because things got awkward after that. Now, Kitty and I, we have a rough conversation to have. And she told me off stream that she needed 5 words to say what she meant to say. What did you mean to say, Kitty? Come on, tell the people.
I meant to say, I love you, Twitch chat. And I got cut off. So now everything's awkward. It's awkward on the desk. It's awkward for the Twitch chat.
Sorry, chat.
It's alright. Someone else loves me anyway, so I've got a whole lot of love to give. And Twitch chat, you get my love because you're getting those predictions correct. Congratulations on that. But of course, look, we didn't have a whole lot of time to chat about that game after the game just before, but now is your time to shine, Kitty. What did you like, and what do you think Peace need to change to try to get back into this series?
Look, I'm gonna be real. If we put 1 and 1 together, Peace has picked blue side for all of their games throughout playoffs, and they've lost every single game throughout playoffs. That means if you pick blue side, you just automatically lose. So, okay, that's not a fact, but I'm expecting a Peace to at least try red side before they get eliminated out of split 1. So hopefully we do see that, and they save the counter pick for either Tien or maybe even the ADC position. Might see a Xayah, we don't know. But yeah, that's what I think, Mac.
That's curious because the big man draft lord, when I spoke to him earlier, we specifically asked him why they chose blue side, and he said it was a coin flip. So, I don't know. The stats are looking pretty like 90 to 10% at the moment. But let's have a look at what Peace has chosen. Again, they've gone against the grain. Let's see if this is exactly what they need to start to work on a reverse sweep. Because at the moment, Order, Rusty, have been looking like they're just another cut above.
Yeah, I mean, Order haven't even lost the playoffs game so far, right? And it's funny that we joked about this during the break, Mac, but when asked who we think would be an MVP so far, we all said someone different. It's like all of Order have actually just been so good. Everyone has lifted, everyone has risen to the occasion. And I think, again, it's amazing to see not just the expectations that we call them a best of 5 team, but to see that reality play out exactly as everyone said, right? They have actually been so good so far.
Yeah.
And this series is no exception. They've won in 2 different ways. They've been clean in both.
Well, now knowing that Peace have picked that red side, make sure you pick the right team for the Dare fan vote because your Twitch points are on the line. We did see how close it was in Game 2, and I'm not expecting anything to change going into Game 3. Even though Order are 2-0 up, we'll see if they can do it on the blue side because this is where that conversation really needs to happen, and we'll see how that affects the draft, Skimmy.
Look, I'm going to give you the most base take here, Mac. What's going to happen is Beats is going to run it back like it's 2021 all over again. He's going to say, oh, cool, Paul, lock in that Leona, see what happens. I'm not going to play the Lux this time. I'm actually going to lock in Dr. Mundo like I did last year. And I'm just going to passive shake off that Zenith Blade. He's just going to get like, what did he get in that game, Rusty? He got like the jungle gank came in. I think he got like double buff, and he became the carry in that lane. I think they played like, it was like a Ziggs Mundo lane when it was Puma and Beats together. So why not?
Yeah, that Ziggs meta, I'm kind of glad that isn't what we're seeing anymore. However, what do I know? I'm just a big old idiot. Champ Select's ready. Let's see if Ziggs is going to be picked, huh? Game 3, let's go.
Well, the big question for all of us really was, what would happen if they did finally get themselves red side? I guess we're going to finally figure out what Peace do look like on that red side. We put all this pressure, we built up this entire narrative about that's where they look strong. So hopefully it works out that way.
Yeah, we'll see what both teams actually do to adapt to not just the series, but to the side swap in general. And so far, Peace have gone for the same Evelyn ban. They've already changed up a little bit with their bans 2 and 3 here, however, as it leaves open 1, the Zillion, which needs to be spoken about here because that was what I think Kisei has looked the best on so far, to the Karma, which is now going to be first picked and locked in for them. And Karma is flexible with mid lane. It is probably going to be in the hands of Corporal, but is absolutely flexible. And this is also, I feel like, one of the only enchanters that we've really seen in playoffs. Otherwise, it has been Tahm Kench, it has been Leona, or it has been Nautilus.
Yeah, we just completely forgot about all that groundwork put into the start of the split where it was lethal tempo, AD carries, partner with a Lulu, and off you go. You just win. And it really has just been a case of, no, it's all about these engaged tanks who have Hex Flash and either, you know, the Resolve Tree or that of the Glacial, just to lock you down and say that we've got enough engage as a result. P's going to answer back with that Xayah once again. But it would be an interesting combination, right, for Order to try and find this moment where Kisei says, well, I will just play the shielding support. I will just sort of take the backbone. Because I feel like that was a big talking point at the start of the split, right? How many chefs they had in the kitchen trying to make sure that Kevi, Kisei, and Puma were all happy. The fact that Kisei said, just put me this and we'll win.
I wouldn't mind an AD pick here, I think. AD, I guess, top lane. Keeping the Karma just a little bit flexible, this would be fantastic. Ashe Karma is a lane that can work extremely well, but it could also, again, be flex, and you could have a different option to go with that Ashe if necessary. This is huge. I'm so glad we've seen it. You can see 100% win rate. That's for good reason. Puma is an absolute monster on it. Let's not even bring up the KDA on it. I think he had like a 14-1 pop-off game.
He carried so hard.
He was nuts. And then because you've gone for the Graves second, this is where the Karma actually gets stonks, right? Like, you can now flex it because Graves Karma works. Peace. I think they have gone back to grassroots here. This is red side. This is an aggressive Jarvan pick. Now, Jarvan not that great into the Graves, right? It can dash out of the ultimate, but Karma Ashe very much can be targeted.
Certainly can, and if we are to have the case of, you know, getting those double buffs or even just one buff level 3 gank, a classic really for any Jarvan player, then certainly a way for them to try and hard force an advantage in bot lane and say, Puma and Corporal, you've had a number in these 2v2s, but this time you will be punished. They need to try and instill some of that confidence back into Chan if they are going to keep locking in Xayah as a very high priority.
Very curious to see what these bans will continue to be here as well. Beyond just the Xayah that is picked. Beyond, I guess it is like a middle ground type of bot lane as well from Peace. It doesn't feel like it goes one way or the other. It can be strong, it can be given no resources and be fine. Nautilus can peel just as much as he can engage. And Jarvan already is engaged for the team. You can see the Camille ban. I'm wondering if a Galio is considered by Peace at all. Because Jarvan Galio can absolutely still be a pretty nasty combo. And a lot of mid lane targeted bans here from both teams. So the list continues to diversify. What does Appy even consider, right? You've got Orianna. Absolutely, Ori Jarvan is still a combo. That'd be nice with a Nautilus ult, right? Guaranteeing a carry gets caught in it. And Xayah's already been picked by your team, which is why I think this could work a treat.
It was banned last game. Yeah, and this is the question, right? What are you thinking? Do you invest in the late game, like the hyper late game with the Orianna and the Vector? Or do you say, well, this time there hasn't been as much of a focus. Last game there were 4 mid bans. We know that obviously Kisei's phenomenal on the Akali. Appy's played it too. He's played it into Order of all teams too. So he opts for the mid-range, opts for a lot of CC, and you look to say that now Peach certainly have a lot of tools to try and land that first punch, right? Not necessarily have to be as reactive as they have so far in the series.
And I think with the Syndra being locked in, you have the possibility now of obviously of playing that Karma mid working with the Graves. You can see that the Tahm Kench gets locked in as a tool to protect the Ashe. So I think you see the 3 bans, or rather the 3 picks from Peace. You acknowledge that they're looking for a really hard damage combo. And then you see a single target damage source in the Syndra. Tahm Kench suddenly has a whole lot of value in saving those carries that are going to be engaged or Nada follow it through. I like Order's comp, but Peace, it's clear that they've been watching the rest of the world, Skimmy. Lucian top lane has been rising the ranks of priority into the Gnar. And TN is obviously the type of player that could do this.
It didn't disappoint though, did it? As soon as we painted this picture that if it's going to be red side, Peace is going to save the pick for TN, and he's going to draft something insanely carry-oriented. It could have been Niarelia. He could have just laid the gauntlet and said, this entire series depends on me popping off and being an absolute goblin in that side lane, winning the kills, drawing the attention. But no, he says, I'm going to take one step further. I'm playing Lucian, a classic pick that we saw for such a long time here in OCE, and it felt so disastrous, right? If it fell behind, you're kind of like, well, go next. But if it gets ahead, you're an absolute demon.
There's a couple of things here, I think, now that the drafts are completed. It is that Ashe Tahm Kench is very safe in the 2v2. Karma is a really nice scaling, shielding option for the team of Order. But they are going to have a top side that is going to be hard-focused and hard-targeted. Syndra and Lucian are going to be the place to look at. But an Ashe Tahm Kench could also be a strong side, Skimmy. There is still some flexibility from Order. It is Peace, however, that have the pleasure of having just stronger laning champions very early on in top and mid with a jungler that wants to gank. I think the burden of execution belongs with Order on that same side.
I think, it goes back to basics, as you mentioned, right? Very early on into that draft for Peace. Looking to lock in some comfort, looking to try and find some champions that fit the bill of what made Peace such a strong threat very early on into the split. And for their careers as individuals as a whole, right? They want to be those lane bullies. They want to be the first on the map making those moves. They want to be the team that could cause a reverse sweep, because certainly that is what they are looking at right now. 0-2 in this series. Their first time on the red side and their first time now, hopefully, to try and answer back in this series, because otherwise Order will just walk away with it without truly having been challenged.
Yeah, I mean, Peace are on the precipice of not winning a single game in playoffs and being eliminated. Order, the exact same precipice of the opposite way. Having never lost a game of playoffs, the run is well and truly on for Order if they're able to get this one and find a clean sweep 3-0, 2 back-to-back 3-0s. Remember, the winner of this best of 5 series goes up against Pentanet.gg tomorrow. So there's a lot to look forward to for that one. But so far, coming into this third game, we are going to kick this one off with an unfortunate pause.
We are.
Skimmy. Very unfortunate pause.
Unfortunately, indeed. I think there's a lot of talking points we can do as we sort of load into this one, right? We'll put draft and sort of the ideas of what those comps are wanting to achieve to the side for a minute until we get back into game. But I suppose, like, talking narrative-wise, there was that famous moment, right, where in Split 2 last year, Peace started off in that 5th position, ran the entire gauntlet. Their biggest challenge was up against Order. If you remember that game, it went through 4 Peace, and after that it was just clean 3-0s all the way into that grand final. So Order have always been one of those teams that have been in the outskirts of bridging past a top 4 playoffs position. They've made top 2 in, or I think the last time would have been, back in 2020 up against Legacy, but they've never really truly challenged for the title. So you're seeing the confidence from a lot of those sort of player interviews, and you're thinking, if they can get a convincing 3-0, tying it into our game tomorrow, is that a convincing enough performance for PGG to be like, we're kind of scared of you?
I don't know if PGG will be scared of anyone, but I think that's a conversation for another day on the strength of Pentanet.gg themselves. When looking towards Order, when looking towards Peace, definitely if at this point it goes to 5 games, you've got to be confident as PGG, because both teams have then shown weaknesses. They've also shown their hand in where they think they are the strongest. And you may have pretty clear-cut strategies going into them. But however, like you heard from the coach of Order prior, Skimmy, he does feel like stylistically both today and tomorrow's matchups could be considered the same, right? Like a lot of early aggressive jungle-based movement that could just revolve into, jungle-based team fighting, a lot of active early to mid-game pressure. We'll see if that is something that does actually bear fruit, if Order are able to win this one. But I want to say that this game is an uphill battle, and not to pick a winner, but I have a feeling that this draft, the feeling in my gut is that I'm much more happy with what I'm seeing from Peace, and this is much more like Peace, closer to a win type of angle.
Yeah, I mean, I look at TN first of all, right, and you think of him, he's going to be one of those people that are going to try and take you on at any opportunity, right? He plays the 1v1s with the Camille, he's drafted a Vayne top, out of all things, right, and just sort of made that look like a lot of fun, right? So you drafted an Lucian, and once again, the focus is, I want to be the carry. We've sort of seen them flip-flop as the split's gone on, right, as to Lisa put his attention. Does he play towards the carry top laner, or does he look to try and make Chen an absolute nightmare? And I think we've seen from this series already that you're really hoping that at some stage they find those cylinders to try and fire back on, because it can't all be about one single individual. But I guess talking about ease of execution in that same kind of common category, right? The ease, the likes of a Syndra or a Jarvan to try and set something up and say, we're going on that, compared to what Order said. And they're clearly relying, on that 2-0 scoreline of protect the Puma. We've got the Karma, we've got the Time Kench, we've got a Gnar that can throw you into a wall. This Ashe should have an absolute field day to try and rain those arrows.
Yeah, and I think right now, if we're form checking, the AD of Order is definitely at Puma Yushi status. He's absolutely been insane the past week. Has been mechanically right up there and hasn't been losing any lanes really ever. So a lot of positives to speak towards for that team. He's also got the Tahm Kench to protect him, but speaking towards that ease of access when it comes to team fights, yeah, for me it's mid, and it is the Ashe. Those are the places that I would like to see the Jarvan move the most. There's also a possibility that you could put the Xayah and the Ashe in just an isolated 1v1 and try and get supports really active on the map, Skimmy. I think that's a really viable strategy here for Peace specifically, because the Nautilus and the Jarvan working together have so many great lanes to gank for. And I don't think that the Xayah is ever really at threat or risk of losing in a 1v1. It's a nullifying pick into an Ashe. She ults, you ult, that's it. Right? That's the whole play.
Yeah, you raise a really good point. I would love to see Nautilus link up with the jungle nice and early, as Lisa is going to be that jungler that is linking up with his own demise. May just fall on down as Kevy just loads up the shotgun and puts him into a very early grave. A first blood at the level 1 mark. Perfect start here for Order in game 3.
Flash used by the Jarvan. Flash also expended by Puma. He was the one effectively guaranteeing that one. Of course, Ashe auto attack slowing. He then disengages to make sure that Kevy receives the kill. So this is now a Graves that gets to start the game with 400 extra gold with the Flash advantage and a ward at the enemy red buff to confirm that it's going to be a blue leash start. This is a very dangerous place to be for Peace, just knowing that this Graves could be absolutely anywhere.
No eyes in the sky this time. And certainly if he can get accelerated, which he is, back to base and picks up a cheeky longsword to help out that clear speed, and no doubt the skirmishing potential if he was to have a little bit of a rumble in the jungle one more time once those crabs are up and available. You are a little bit scared about how this game could play out again. But we have talked about some of the narratives as to, you know, what we prefer, what we like, and where we should be focusing on. And once again, I mean, it certainly is going to be a case of what they can achieve in this mid lane, because we know that the Karma is one of those nullifying picks, and that, you know, the shield comes out, half your life bar is there, and you're sort of cheating death in that regard, but needs at least 2 items to reach that break point.
So a couple of little fun points, Skimmy, just while we're looking at the bottom lane 2v2. One thing for Ashe that is very unique to her in runes that other ADs never really get to go towards is approach velocity. So primary tree is just going to be lethal tempo as you would expect, but approach velocity enables you to continue to chase people down almost like you have free boots at level 1, because the auto attack slows, and then when they're slowed you get bonus movement speed walking towards them. So it's going to be super big, as it might have to hold the thought. Lisa no smite if Kevy takes this right now.
Vision's gone down. Both mid laners are running as fast as they can towards this one, but I feel like Appy's just been completely baity. He's going to cop a fair bit of damage. The Teva is going to have to be flashed away from, which is disastrous. To turn around onto a one-man stun. Empowered Mantra Q from Kisei, as he looks to try and really lock on down
Jan's
Appy.
dead.
A kill just happened in the bot lane somehow, so fight's still on there. But we're not done here in the jungle. Now Tien's going to get rowdy about it and say, what on earth is going on our side of the map?
Yeah, I mean, just wants to take the Raptors. Kevy's still level 2.
It's only going to be a one-man flag and drag, but Kisei is literally just walking out of harm's way. Kevy not going to steal the red buff,
Beats
but
is dead.
Beats is dead. Not much more to say about that one.
Corporal also died. We have a lot of catching up to do with bottom lane. I think that's fair to say. It seems like at the end result, this was a flashless Ashe. There's Chaeyoung that flashes to try and take the kill out on the Corporal. It just doesn't have enough damage. Flash forwards by Beats. I mean, that is... I mean, that's really sad. Puma takes down his own lead, buddy.
Yep. And we're not done with that one. No, top lane we go.
All right.
Oh my god, Kevy.
Kevy's going to get the kill. Tan goes down. That's well played. Mid lane, they also get Kisei, who flashed earlier, onto Appy at the red buff. This game is going absolutely insane. It is junglers and laners recognizing where there is summoner spells missing and trying to prey upon it. But it is all happening at once, and it is impossible to keep up with.
It's so hard. We're going to run it back with another one of those replays again. And essentially all it came down to is punishing, as you say, no flash, easy flag and drag, and make sure that somebody gets the kill. But these junglers are greedy, man. They're not only like killing the camps, they're killing the kills, they're stealing everything.
Yeah, Kisei was a very naughty boy there, though, Skimmy. He just stayed for no good reason. A little bit too far forwards, perhaps trying to crash a wave in before he reset. It was very clear that he needed to. And it seems like we might finally have a moment to simmer down. But if we actually take stock of the map at this point, Tian's not outright winning top lane. He has had no pressure on the top side of the map. Kevy has made sure of that. And remember that First Blood going the way of the Graves enables him to have more damage in general, and perhaps even staunch away the Jarvan from the side of the map he wants to be on. That's what we saw. Kisei effectively has sacrificed his life once in this game to try and make sure the jungler wins. Everybody loves Kevy is the game plan so far from Order.
It sounds like the name of a hit Netflix show.
It might be.
Yeah, certainly is in a position of power. And we have seen these, incredibly fed junglers as a Graves put in a lot of work. It's been a welcome reintroduction for that pick in that position. Here's what you prophesize, though, of both supports getting nice and active on the map nice and early. Not going to be with the jungle assistance, but certainly enough to try and interrupt what could have been a potential dive attempt there by Corporal. Good hook.
If neither support was there, that could be a very different play, but nice attempt by Corporal, well diffused by Beat. Supports will just continue their business as usual. Mechanically very sound. Lisa threatening a dive on a mini Gnar. I suppose it's possible, but he has a health crystal and has cloth armor.
Appy's coming. Order aren't going to be here to back him up. They're going to go for the first Drake of this game. The question is, can they get this kill into Biopanther, and will they die to make this one happen? They're going to switch the aggro. They're out of turret range. And it's very easy for the side of Peace to pick up.
Yeah, really well done by Peace. They find the opportunity to free the Syndra on the map. They'll make the dive happen. Gromp, doesn't reset. They will deny that one from Kevy. How to Order play this in response?
They've got no TP, so this is looking like a straight Crystal Arrow going in. You're dead and you're gone. And Chan says, I wish I was level 6. Oh!
Oh, it's a dieback. Teleport straight in for Biopanther and immediately gets one-tapped. That's really important that Peace found themselves a win condition on the map. That is now huge for top lane. We'll see what happens, because it does seem like he teleports in. Lisa's like, psych.
He's like, I'm going back to base. Wait, no, you are instead.
Oh, you thought. And then hops and just gets one-tapped because the Syndra does a lot of single target damage. Meanwhile, of course, Order were still diving bottom. The trade was there, the trade was met, and it was still really, really nicely done. That is a 4-0 Graves, by the way.
Yes. That is the only thing that really stood out to me from that scoreboard, right? Whilst we're making cross-map plays and making sure that Tien is fed. Puma's fed too, but not as much as Kevy, which is going to be a force to be reckoned with. There is the KDA, which, I mean, it really was that kind of performance. Up against Gravitas, debuted the Ashe, and we thought, okay, well, an individual like Puma, we certainly know that he has a lot of champions available for him, but he made that champion look absolutely broken.
Absolutely, he did. Speaking of the Ashe, Chaeyoung better hit 6 of this wave. He should be very happy that he does. Puma will be very close to having that ultimate up again now. 11-1 KDA here. It was a monster performance that he put in. Certainly seeming like it could be similar this time around, but it's going to be Kevy receiving all of the kills that he assists on. Biopanther active is Mega Gnar this time, so has some defensive tools if he gets 3-man for once. Peace. I don't think they can contest this, even though Lisa spent, 5 seconds posturing.
No, they just have to watch that one fall on down, attend to their lanes a little bit more. Thankfully for them, it does mean that Chain can look to try and get a little bit of gold to trade out what the Herald is hoping to achieve. Rare reprieve for him in what has been a bit of a difficult series as a whole.
Beats level 4 here as well, Skimmy. Like, you could see them posturing to try and maybe dive, but I think honestly, if Beats goes in, he probably dies. As long as Ashe buffers the ultimate for when the hook connects. It's hard to do, and again, it feels like we're going to be in a state where ADs want to diffuse one another, and it is the supports that are going to get active around the entire map. There's just so much damage that's going to be coming out of Kevy that, like, the whole flow of this game can shift.
Whoa! That's a flash, that's a flag, and that's a drag. That's a cataclysm on your head. I think Lisa's just going to die for this one. No, the turret was far too ramped up, but Kevy's done a great job of at least trading even.
Tien does use the flash, but he gets the shutdown gold. He's 20 CS up. Chaeyoung.
Corporal goes in, on towards Chaeyoung. A very late Featherstorm, but a good Featherstorm nonetheless. Rips the feathers back, flashes away, and pops the heal. Just out of range as Beats body blocks. Shields him from the volley, but in comes Kisei. He's not on a Kali this time, but certainly a flash like this. Oh, good sidestep! The passive, the tether, he's dead, I think. Yes, he is. Beats has to answer back, but Beats can't do anything.
The minions are doing so much work here. Lisa wants to find the kill. The minions are crashing now, so it seems like the Karma will be saved.
Corporal's going to concede his life here just to make sure that Kisei can get out of this one. I was looking at the river and I saw that Appy was running from mid to bot to try and snipe that kill too.
Tien, man.
We've been seeing this a lot this game, where it's just too much happening at once.
Things that shouldn't be happening for 500. The Lucian, of course, had no flash. There's a chance it was just a Mega Gnar used. Flash was there for Biopanther. We'll see what happens. I think the only way you get this kill is if you get Mega Gnar, but if Tien dashes forwards, I'd just be a sad boy. Yeah, okay, he recognizes this is a rough place to be, but it's just too little too late. Well played by the Gnar. Bio's so good at top, man.
He really is. Really, really is. Great way to answer back in that lane, as certainly we were just praising the fact that Tien has received a boatload of attention to make sure that he comes online as quickly as possible. We were praising him also for the fact that he got the shutdown gold onto that incredibly fed Graves, but it doesn't get much easier here for Cheon. There is the arrow, and it's just so easy for them to set up these ganks.
No, it just continues to happen. Ashe is, I think, honestly, undervalued in so many different ways in Oceania. Puma the only AD so far that has really been willing to pick this up. And like what it can mean, right, is your Tahm Kench support that has some tools to engage, you have so much more. You can almost match the Nautilus through your AD specifically. I have to hold the thought.
Yeah, they weren't content just yet, were they? Looking to try and make a player happen at the mid side as well, just even whilst the Herald was making moves in the bot lane. Yeah, raises a really good point, right? Certainly we thought that we'd be seeing a lot more Ashe on this patch, given that 20 seconds has been shaved away from that ultimate.
That's a lot.
That's so much.
I mean, it basically means you can engage more often than tank supports can. That's the reality of it, so it has its value. Corporal's going to be gone on here.
Yeah, he tried to really protect their own blue buff here, but I'm not sure if that's the play he's after. Forced to burn that flash. Like he's done that a lot this game.
Yeah, I don't know what Corporal's up to, man. Like his team, his jungler is doing the Drake. There's really nothing there for him. The flash will be used, and Peace will try and pressure. They want this top turret. They should be able to secure it if they really force it, but they're afraid, I think, of where Order are right now. A Puma showing means that Corporal will be nearby. And it also presumably means that Graves is on the top side of the map, even though he hasn't been spotted. He could be there through lane. The Peace will adapt.
They're just going for every lane. They're playing ARAM at this stage. It's just a gank trio. Anywhere you go, you are not safe. You could have summoners or you could not. The ultimate access is just a little bit too easy for them to make work there. And they're certainly keeping this goal close. But it's not to forget what Kevy can do. As he may just walk in here and to try and one-shot Lisa. Very low.
That's a tank, by the way. There's a full tank Jarvan build. That is definitely not even a Gore Drinker. That is going straight into maybe a Frostfire. And still almost gets one hit. That's how much damage Kevy's currently doing. Puma freed up to throw the Ashe ultimate as he pleases. Threaten the top lane turret as he pleases as well. Look at the vision down the river for Order.
Belongs to them. I mean, really, Peace once again find himself in a situation where they have to play reactively. They just can't make any forward movements because they have no idea where Order are, what they're up to, what they're doing. And really, for Kevy, living his best life. Just from the very first moment of this game, getting that first blood to just walking in and stealing your jungle camps, putting Lisa that much further behind.
They have to engage top lane, it feels like. Beats, hook hits.
Hook hits, Tien's there to follow things up. Arrow goes out to try and defuse the pressure. Nice flag and drag, preventing that dive away. If they can find a kill on towards Puma, this would be monumental in this game. A double for Lucian. Lisa, this time shrugs it off with the shielding. And Tien really is the biggest benefactor of them all.
I mean, that is super large from Peace, 100%. This gold has really thinned out, as back down to like 800 between both respective teams. Kevy will collapse the top lane just to catch the minion wave as it crashes, but Lisa time and again has found successful ganks topside. They're playing around their Lucian, not around their Xayah. They still have a second AD carry, and they are going to make it work. And that was a matter of almost feeling pressured into that position on the map, but still being wildly successful. That's huge for Peace.
They certainly aren't giving up. They're forcing everything in this game. They have to make it work. Certainly a champion that's been locked in at this moment in the draft. This amount of pressure put on an individual where we've been screaming to see it happen. It's making it work so far. And you really have to hope that once the Essence Reaver is complete, it is going to be a champion that can certainly look to try and be much more than just a ultimate bot. It wants to really be in your face, challenging for a lot more. But Order aware of this one. Great fancy feet there on the arrow. The culling goes out, a flash away. As the Devour had to be used, but Kevy's got a flash, he's got an ultimate, and I think he's got enough with the quick draw into the fadeaway explosion.
Nice dodge by Tien, however, you could see that the lethal would be there, had to predict the ultimate. There was a chance that Kevy took the gamble and went slightly wide to predict the dash. Perhaps just wasn't sure on cooldowns. Nevertheless, the turret top lane will fall. Order will continue to try and push forwards on the map. And what was brought back to 700 gold does stretch just a little bit more. That is with Herald in hand. is with Mythic Spikes coming across here. There's an opportunity for the side of Order to grow this lead even further. But you can see Peace hunting, seeing if they can find some angles, and Corporal has been all too happy so far to present those angles, Scooby.
Certainly has.
That was a good biff.
But we find ourselves in familiar territory once again with Order having all the dragons in this game, and it's so interesting to me because we, at one point later on in the split during the regular start of things, we were saying that, you know, Peace were the dragon team. They were the ones with the highest percentage stat of this one, but in this game it just hasn't been achievable. It's a lot in part come down to laning states not being desirable enough, but also just the pressure with those kills always trending up in favor of Order.
And we kind of devolved to more of an ARAM lane state. Syndra with the Everfrost completed. That is non-standard in my mind. Usually it is a Luden's Echo, but I have to hold that conversation as Hex Flashes are being threatened. Herald is being summoned.
Arrows there, they can pull the trigger at any time they want, but they're just going to say, what are you doing dilly-dallying in that river? We're just going to look to try and shove in your mid-wave. Turret is just going to fall on down. There it is. They look to try and find an angle on towards Cheon, who was certainly holding his nerve there on the R button.
Fire chooses. Oh, hooks on.
Hook is on. Leech jumps in. Let's see what he can do with this one as he knocks up only a member, and he's just going to die for it. Support very squishy. In goes Bio with the flash. Great dash away there from Appy, and an even better Featherstorm to try and mitigate him. His position is compromised, and he tries to be consumed, but ultimately the Tom Kinch is the one that is going on down. Tien, 1v1 into Puma, who flashes away. Chain's lost vision, they can't answer back. That is clutch, as he's now got the back angle. He can jump in and hit the volley from afar. And there is a double for Kevy. There is the first ace of this game.
And it's a triple in the end for the Graves. Kevy is just built different here for the side of Order. Is 9-1-1. Hard carry shoes on, starts at level 1. But we hit a 17-minute team fight and comes in super clutch for them. This was the closest it felt like the game had been, but that team fight, all things considered, wasn't that close. The fact that it starts with a hook onto Kevy, but there's a Karma to protect him. There is an Eclipse Shield to stop any damage that Beats just dies. Well predicted by both Appy and Cheon, and it does feel like inevitably you would expect Biopanther to die there, but Corporal sacrifices his life for the betterment of the team. Syndra uses her ult on a full health Karma for no good reason, while Puma takes a 1v1 against Tien on this Lucian and wins it. During all of this, Kevy has literally been just walking around, pumping out damage, living his best life, just flourishing and moisturized, Gibby.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, Kevy has been an absolute monster this game, this series. 9-1-1, call a doctor really, because this game is a bit of a wash. It's feeling like a bit of a 3-0 here, as certainly Peace are trying to find answers, but the fact that Puma can make that play and get away with it, criminal.
Speaking of getting away with plays.
Yeah, Kevy's just burned him with a challenging smite. Lisa walks in and goes, hang on a minute, you have 3 levels up on me. Maybe I'm not after this fight after all. Beats, his position is not to be really founded, as he will just fall on down. And now Kevy is saying, I'm a tank, I'm a DPS, and I'm ever so much more. I am the star of this show. He's now 12-1.
Oh, and it just goes from bad to worse from Peace as well. It's a tragedy, a consistent downfall, a comedy of errors. Everything gets undone for them. One good team fight from Order, back that up with a second, and the map belongs to them. The gold goes from 1,000 odd in favor of Order to 6. Turrets are going to start falling here as well, Skimmy, and like you said, 12-1. I don't think anything can stop Kevy from making it to the BO5 tomorrow with Pentanet.gg.
Certainly looking to be the case here. And whilst he does have that one death, and a shutdown was accrued and collected with conviction by Tien, it's just reached critical mass. I mean, he is so close now to 3 items at the 20-minute mark, whilst you're looking at the side of Peace really saying, we wish we could answer you in that regard. We've already got bounties, which they are desperate to try and achieve. Yes, it's a 5k lead, but it feels like ever so much more. A quick draw array that's going to be nullified here by the dredge line.
There's 4 people, teleport.
But he's got so much armor. He's been completely surrounded by 5 members of Peace.
I mean,
Yes.
that's 1,000 gold. Skimmy Cheon got it as well. He needed that money so bad. Corporal gonna face check. Ooh.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. That's dead. They missed the hook, they missed the flag and drag, and Order just question mark ping them.
That is a Mega now they have to sprint away from at high speeds if they want any shot to stay in this game. You mentioned items. I think we might have a second to actually talk about them for once without constant fighting happening. One, it is the lethality or maximum damage build from Kevy as well. Big fan of this. Instead of something like perhaps the shield bow to keep himself alive, I'm a big fan of the amount of DPS he can output here. For top lane, we've spoken about this for a while as well. Trinity Force on the Gnar, it is such a fantastic dueling item, and I think with the inclusion of Trinity Force as the standard Gnar build, Biopanther's been picking this more often than not, actually. Maybe up there with Ornn as equal amount of times picked. And it's a Karma with Ludens in mid lane. So I call this the Doinby item build, which is just a kind of a callback to when I was casting the LPL. He would pick utility champions like the Karma. He would build full AP anyway, and he would still clutch out team fights and make it work. It's a similar build here. You are a support champion, you have shields, you're designed to do that, but you can still build scaling damage. Where Appy, as the sole AP of his team, as the Syndra, has decided to go for the Everfrost. Now, I do not have a reason in my head for that.
You took to the AP, the only AP in the game, might as well lock them in some CC as Lisa jumps in there with a Cataclysm. Going to sidestep out that arrow, but then Tien says, why on earth have I been griefed by my teammate here? Bruises are meant to soak those mechanics, and this is what Kevy looks like when he's 15-2. It's another triple kill. Forget shutdowns, prevent the gold injection into elsewhere, because it doesn't matter, they're just dead.
I mean, absolutely, Tien has just been unequivocally griefed by his jungler. Tank the arrow and die, bro. But he's just flashed away. And Tien with flash up, cops the stun and dies. Baron's going to be secured, like you said, 15-2 now. We're probably seeing a kill record here from Kevy through the rest of this game. If Appy had a Ludens there, Skimmy, Kisei might have died. Just throwing that, just floating that idea out there for you.
What a performance here from Order. Really shaking off any kind of nerves, any kind of history, any kind of rent-free mindsets of, well, look what they've done to us across the entirety of the regular split. They've come in here with the preparation like you would not believe. Let's run it back here one more time, because I feel like I've been in games with you where you said you just need to tank this arrow because there's no way you just make sure that you all fall on down.
It's called doing your job. Lisa is the tank. There's no shot you dodge that. Dodging that is actually like, you cannot communicate when an Ashe is arrowing that you're going to dodge, because that is a reactive dodge, right? That is Lisa used to being a carry, suddenly on a tank, having to tank something that goes against his nature.
Oh no, he's blast coned into
Caught
another
that
arrow. Gonna get shoved into the wall, and this time, yes, I have soaked the arrow, but there's no one to protect. Tien's gonna say, well here, let's claim a bounty. Tier 1 and topside falls down at the 24-minute mark. But Order have a Cloud Soul, they've got the moves, they've got the ultimates, they've got the damage, as that GA will not be popped. Devour denies the party, and Order really are getting their finances in order here.
Yeah, I mean, another kill goes down. We've got a 16-2 Graves. 100% has to be a kill record at this point. Kisei's found beats. He is by himself. You can see the Syndra mid, but a teleport's coming in. Rather, the Zaya mid. Bio's in, though. So we'll dissuade that attempt, and meanwhile, pushing top lane. Appy has stopwatch. He also has flash.
Crossing their T's and dotting their I's are Order now. With a Baron buff, with another whole minute, with a mid and top wave primed and ready to go. They're not synchronized, but certainly are being preyed upon in what is looking like a bit of a 4-1 split. And the first inhibitor falls on down, hit at the 25-minute mark. Peace have been run ragged in this series. And will be hoping that they can do anything now to try and buy a little bit more time, but that is a level 15 Ashe. That means the arrow is so devastatingly short on cooldown. In they go again. They take out Beats, whose KDA is not too pretty, but they then lock their sights on towards Tien instead. The Zonius comes on through as Biopipe actually hits the stopwatch instead. Rather, Culling is just going to be dashed away from, as everybody is just chucking out ultimates on cooldown.
Yeah, they're going to break a second inhibitor here as well. Health bar's blinking. The play may just disengage. Never mind. Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa. Certainly with a cheeky flash forward,
Oh,
says I want to try and do
Puma.
whatever I can. But Puma! Look at the flash! That's a double out of stasis. He gets an insane Karma shield. He's still alive. How on earth is he still alive? He says, no, it can't all be about you, Kevy. I can put the moves out on display here too. 18 kills now for Kevy. The most of anybody this entire split. What a performance for an ace in a situation where they will claim the perfect trio order for the first time in the LCO. Will finish higher than 4th.
The complete capitulation of Peace. They just completely crumble in playoffs. Not a single game win throughout 2 best-of-5s. But while we can say goodbye to Peace, we should be celebrating Order first, because Pumayushi, like, holy cow, goes insane in that last fight. And Kevy puts on an absolute clinic. Biopanther getting solo kills in his lane as well against a Lucian as a Gnar. Everything going so well for Order, and it feels like their identity has been found, it has been solidified. And this is the type of Order performance that can make the run through the lower bracket and potentially challenge Pentanet.gg.
Certainly can. As we certainly saw, it wasn't a case of one individual asking all the questions and presenting all the answers as to how they wanted to carry. Yes, we put a big emphasis on what Kevy was able to do in that game, because quite rightfully, it's a record in its own right. We've had a lot of records broken already in this series, with Puma getting the most CS, with him getting the most kills, with them as a collective getting a very quick, decisive free. I mean, it's a quick day in the office for them. You can't be much more happy than that there, Mac.
I don't think anyone could be much more happy. Now, Rusty, you got your prediction correct as well, so big congrats. You know, you didn't get the scoreline correct, but it was another clean 3-zip, which is, you know, the curse is back. So, quite a happened here again today, but you can't fault Order. Look, both the teams as well, you know, it's 3 wins apiece at the moment, but Order won when it mattered. That's here in playoffs, and now Peace are going out in 4th place. So we'll see them next split. Unfortunately for all the Peace fans in chat, and unfortunately for Skimmy and Kitty that got their predictions incorrect. I think I even got my prediction correct, thanks to Twitch chat. You know, absolute legends, you know, good job. But again, let's talk about this damn game. There was so much going on the whole damn time. And Order, look, selfless gameplay from Corporal. You guys pointed it out. It kept Bio alive in this one. Puma taking that one-on-one, going for the full wraparound, thinking he's going to help kite the Peace members, which he did. He put him in the bush for the moment, but then just kept them in this pot. He doesn't have much more influence other than just showing his damn face. But again, there was just so many moments where things could have gone Peace's way, but it just felt like it didn't. And then you got Kevy as well, who got, what, like 16 kills or 19 kills by the end. I don't even know how many it was, because they just got another ace. They got another bloody full wipe right at the end, Rusty.
I mean, they absolutely played exceptionally here, Order across the board. Once again, like, don't ask me who's getting MVP in this series, Mac. Don't ask me. I'm not giving you an answer.
But we need your opinion, because we don't know who the hell it's going
Flip
to.
a 5-sided coin. I don't care. So, everyone did their part at different times, right? You could look at the KDA. You could say that Kevy was fantastic.
Oh,
you look at this team fight, and you say
unreal.
Puma needs a medal, not an MVP. It's unbelievable. Corporal, because he literally sacrifices himself. Like 4 of those 5 deaths, I think, were saving someone with an ultimate. Like, that is the ultimate in support gameplay. He should be stoked with that one, and his team will be thankful. But it's a thankless job dying off cooldown. So even he deserves his own MVP for different reasons, Mac.
Yeah, everyone played slightly different roles throughout the damn game as well. You had the Karma flexing from bot in that first game to mid, so you can see that everyone's champ pool was getting flexed a little bit as well. And then, of course, Kevy got to play his Graves bloody twice, and the man had a damn fun time on that champ, didn't he? Now, I don't even know what else to talk about, because Order just absolutely... They made this the fastest damn night we've seen so far in the LCO. It's 8:30. It seems later because of daylight savings, doesn't it, Kitty?
Oh, wait, it's daylight saving? Oh, God,
Oh, the
guys, I
opposite.
didn't realize. Anyways, it is currently 8:30, probably the fastest show we've had so far for this split. And, guys, my prediction's wrong. Well...
It happens to the best of us,
It
mate.
happens to the best of us.
It was
Timmy.
inevitable.
It was
You want this?
inevitable, but...
Sorry, wrong way.
Thank you,
There we
thank
go.
you, thank
No
you.
worries.
I will take that. But someone else who is inevitable is Puma. So let's bring him in for the interview. So Puma, congratulations on the 3-0 against Peace, eliminating them from playoffs. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think I did expect to 3-0 them, but it's kind of sad because I knocked out Beats, and you know, it is what it is. It's just a part of the competition.
It is indeed what it is. We saw that Ashe and Nautilus interaction in the bot lane, and it was very sad to watch for the most. But what was your reaction when you saw Peace first pick Xayah for 2 of their games in tonight's series?
Yeah, I don't think Xayah is a first pick type of champ. Even though her build is pretty flexible. Yeah, it wasn't that hard to draft against them. I don't think they really had a strong idea of the patch, but yeah.
And you guys have yet to drop a game during the playoffs, so because you guys are currently 3-0 for all your series. So what is actually the reasoning behind this?
I think we have improved a lot since the regular season, and I also think this patch is quite good for us. I can actually play a lot of things bot lane, so I think we kind of got lucky with the patch.
Well, I'm sure it's not just the luck. I'm sure you guys all improved immensely because how about the classes, man? We don't know who to choose for MVP. So if you were to give MVP to any of the order players, who would you give it to?
Me. Please.
You hear that? You hear that, producers? Give it to Puma. He sounds really confident about it as well. And I was talking about giving Puma MVP anyway, so, you know, it's not my fault if they don't give you MVP, Puma. It is probably Mac's fault. But let's talk about your match tomorrow. It's PGG. What are we expecting for tomorrow?
I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think. If you think we're going to lose, just yeah, I hope it goes to 5 games. I think it will.
Well, we're all hoping for another insane Game 5 series. Best of luck for tomorrow and hopefully get a good night's rest, Puma.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, he really wants that MVP, doesn't he? I thought, you know, he
Tell
might
him,
do the
guys.
humble thing and say, oh, yeah, look, Bio popped off. Yeah, oh, look, Corporal, he saved my life so many times that game. No, me, please, thank you. You know, like, it's just so
It's said how it is.
And at least he's looking forward to tomorrow. Man's already getting mentally prepared for that game against PGG. And we have a couple more stats that have arose, which we'll get to in just a moment. Skimmy, I believe you've pulled those up. But it's time, of course, for the Dare MVP. Now, I'm not going to keep you waiting because you guys have absolutely no idea who it is, who it could be. It could be any of the 5 players from Order. But Puma's wishes have come true because it was this man who did work in all 3 games of the series. 13-2 and 31. He had a whole bunch of KP. He had the highest KP in that 3rd game as well. 28% of the damage share. But of course, just doing so much work and keeping himself alive. 2 deaths over 3 games in a lower bracket final here in the playoffs, Skimmy. That is a solid number to live by.
It just looks too easy. I mean, it just looks like another day in the office for him, really. The fact that you're saying that was a full best of 5 done over in a heartbeat is crazy to me. And I mean, he does... him and Corporal have the highest KP out of any bot lane in the region, so I'm not surprised to see that once again he took a big part of making them look so good as a whole. But I mean, he didn't lose laning phase. He looked strong in terms of those team fights. He had the mechanics at the very end there as well. So, I mean, you're very hard-pressed. At least for me, it was either between him or Kevy as to who popped off harder. So, yeah, congrats to Puma there.
Yeah, and look, even Kisei as well, having a good series. In comparison to what we've seen him do, you know, over the last month or so, he was playing his role perfectly. He was being the bait in that first game as TF, just drawing a lot of attention, enabling those towers to crumble. Ben was all over the shop and then managed to flex onto the Karma as well. So you just need to point out literally everyone on Order. And I think the bittersweet thing that you picked up on as well, Skimmy, is Peace had to let Kevy go a little while ago now. But you got to remember, they did have him like a year ago from this point, and they let him go. He's now knocked them out of the playoffs here in Split 1.
That was his first game.
2020.
Yeah.
2022, rather.
That was his first game in LCO. He played Graves for Peace, came in, got a 10-0 performance. And everyone's like, wait, who's Kevy? Like, where did this come from, right? And he spent a couple of games on that roster before he moved on to Order. So it almost feels like bittersweet. It's gone full circle from first game to last game.
Yeah, man is an absolute carry, and he did that again today. But it is time for the play of the day. So there was a few moments. There was a lot of big ults, a lot of big one-on-one plays. There was a lot of big team fights there as well. Does anyone remember a moment?
Nah.
Well, I brought
It was a
this
short
up.
day, Rusty.
Guys, I brought up how Biopanther's 3-man knockup at Dragon, maybe even a second time, could be up to the play of the game. I think that engage basically determined the rest of the games because you just saw Biopanther's presence in that game and in the series, and he did so well. That's why people call him the best top laner in LCO, because he gets weak sided, but he's still able to solo kill people when he is the weak side. He's just not weak side anymore. He becomes his own strong side.
This is the Ornn game, right?
This is the.
That was a really good Ornn game.
Yep, that's.
I'm aligned with that as the
I was vibing with that. I'm just going to go slightly biased because we've been talking about like what are your favorite calls in esports history for League, right? I was thinking that final clip of Puma just making all the moves happen. I really want to hear Mac just be like, "Puma, what was that?" That would make my day.
All right, well, fortunately for you, Skimmy, I'll be aligned with that, and I'll happily do a bit of play-by-play over that clip because it was Puma's pop-off in the base at the end of Game 3. A lot of flair, a lot of good action. Look, you got red health bars coming at him. Order, they're all worse for wear, but it does not bloody matter. Kevy starting to get a bit of poke off, and Puma, he's hit that cube. Man has a bloody attack speed for days. There's 3,000 percentages on that man. And look at his health. He's got a big shield, but he's only got 40 bloody HP. The man's surviving. The man is pumping out damage. And he couldn't have done bloody more this series. Put a medal on his neck. But it's only a bronze at this point because at least they've secured third here in the LCO. At worst. At worst. All right, how's that one? You like that, Skimmy?
That was beautiful, bro. That's like an A-class in my ears. Glue them down, crank up the volume.
Apologies, guys.
And get the earwax ready to go.
Got me going. You know, I did have to prep my throat earlier when we had to sub me in for a good, unknown amount of time when I started the cast the first game.
We didn't know.
We had an evacuation today. We had a lot of fun. Even though it was a short day, it was a lot of action packed on in to a small amount of time. Now let's have a look at the brackets, see where all the teams are currently sitting after today's game. Order moving through that lower bracket with a 3-0 win to take on the Titans of Pentanet. Kitty, tomorrow, how is this game going to go down?
Look, I know everyone has said that PGG vs Cheese will be the finals of Split 1, but historically, Order has gone from lower bracket all the way to finals, where they were so close to just getting the championship for that split. I don't remember which roster specifically, but I do remember it was when Swiper was still on Order, and that was an absolutely insane run. And if they do it again, it's just connected to the brand.
Certainly will be. I cannot wait to see how this goes. If Order play like they did today, they're definitely in with a shot. But at the same time, I did see Polkan already tweet at the start of this series today that tomorrow's game's going to be a 3-0 no matter what. So some fighting words already coming through on the Twitter sphere there, Skimmy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the roster you're thinking about, Kitty, would have been like, it was like Swiper, Only, Harry, Rare 7, and Ayla. Like, look at the amount of people on that roster, right? Half of them are now in NA just absolutely smurfing. The rest are here just absolutely dominating. So you're thinking that was a roster that went on to do great things. You just love to see Order sort of upset the apple cart of us talking about super teams between PGG and Chief, so they can sort of nestle their way into a higher position in the top 3. I think that'd be an amazing accomplishment.
Well, we've had a conversation about those super teams throughout the split, but ladies and gentlemen, only 3 teams remain here in Split 1 of the LCO for 2022, and it's all going to boil down to tomorrow. We'll have our top 2 at the end of this beautiful Tuesday evening. We will see you then, same time, same place, right here on the LCO channel. Enjoy yourselves, stay safe, and we'll see you then.
get a shield, you can try and run, you can try and dash! Why if you dash next to a wall? Now, the classic line, Rusty, was he just buying space because the Baron's been started by the other four?
He has created a lot of space. Baron already at 2k HP, Skimmy, but the teleports are coming in. It's a fight.
Oh! Bio's going to get another nasty charge, but Peace, they just want to disengage. They do not want to entertain this fight. Order, they certainly do. They've removed one Baron buff. They're going to try and find a second. Lisa in trouble running all that. And there is nowhere to go as we are now just LCO gaming.
Yeah, nowhere to go for the Tom Kent.
You know, it reminds me of that time he was playing Malphite and he just could not move. It's going to happen again. I mean, here's the CC combo again. Like, look at that! What is the answer? They look to try and top themselves up.
Varusol hits.
Jenna Corruption, final spark, one shot. Good night, sweet dreams, Beats. It doesn't get any better than that, and this is why the Crown of Shadow Queen is just so important. In we go for the fight though, as Lisa looks to try and find his next kill in this game. He's now 4-0, but not before Bio says I can get a double kill.
Bio chooses. Ooh, hooks on.
Hook is on. Leech jumps in. Let's see what he can do with this one as he knocks off only a member, and he's just going to die for it. Support very squishy. In goes Bio with the flash. Great dash away there from Appy, and an even better Featherstorm to try and mitigate him. His position is compromised, and he tries to be consumed, but ultimately the Tom Kent is the one that is going on down. Tien, 1v1 into Puma, who flashes away. Chains lost vision, they can't answer back. That is clutch, as he's now got the back angle. He can jump in and hit the volley from afar, and there is a double for Kevy. There is the...
Hey, look, Menulog.
But they can't connect, they can't collapse, they can't take him down. He's going to sidestep it all. Now popping the Dominus, in they run, Corporal lands the ultimate, and there is the call of the Forge God. It goes the wrong way. It's turning on to Kiss, they stare gauge is so huge! He swings it around! Oh, the corn trigger was enough, it's a shutdown, all important, he picks up here by Lemus, he dies. He falls on down, Byra is massive, he's got a triple! He has found a triple kill, the Titan in the top lane.